walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Really haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's up. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Live the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You not got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Really haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the boys. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You not got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give me all I got. I'm going to the top. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the boys. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. the lead and I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing at attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm finding my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut the knot. Really haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the lead and I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing at attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm finding my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Really haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all they got. I'm going to the top. I'm right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Live deep. The letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. And I got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian.
Guys, welcome back to League of Legends Ascent South Asia. It's me, Madness, alongside Kaka today, and yet again we have two BO3s lined up over here. So we have a lot of competition going on. But Kaka, talk to us a bit about what's happened so far in Legends and how the teams are looking.
Yeah, I think it's a very expected scenario. I would say SATUL being the top dogs. I think that was expected from them. SUVO haters, though, have been a really nice surprise. I have to say they are going to play this first series of the day today. And yeah, they have been doing pretty well. Of course, lost their last match against SATUL, but who hasn't, right? And the other teams, I think we are yet to see them perform as well. Kakao not having enough games under their belt. The Revenant's looking good. I think we have more expectations from PNX, who are not having the greatest start as well. And then the teams at the bottom, which we will see today, Jettfire, Dojo, Poro, Patrol, RPG, and all these teams. So I think that would be a short summary for sure as we look at the prize pool of 10 lakh rupees and the more important thing, in a spot at the LCP wildcard playoffs. The tournament is shaping up. I think this week is going to be quite defining in terms of how the ladder looks after the last match.
Yeah, Exactly. And then the reason or how we got to this point in the tournament, right? Qualifier 1, April 27th to qualifier 3, which ended on June 8th. You got 3 teams from each of them, 3 to 3. That's your 9 teams. The league stage started 2 weeks ago. June 13th ends on July 20th. And that's when most of the action comes in the playoffs between July 25th to August 3rd. So we are pretty deep into this tournament, right? This is week 3, day 1, so that's going to be an important part. And the tournament format, as you can see, the 9 teams are qualified right now in a round robin league stage. They just battle each other once at least. Points are being determined. Based on those points, the top 4 teams move on into a double elimination playoff bracket, and let's see how it goes for them. And another reminder to the people who are joining in, League of Legends is now full fearless draft. We have embraced it, and we are on the right side of things, on the more interesting side of things, given that we have more unique champions coming out every time. It's a bit of a gamble on how you want to draft, and we have seen very interesting strategies coming into these drafts, coming into Legends Ascend.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the fearless draft in full effect come the best of fives, which are not long overdue now. I think we're going to have a lot of fun seeing all those role swaps, all those players especially swapping. I mean, Kakao comes to mind as always, but SATUL has shown as well that if they play with Nero, he can play mid, he can play ADC, he can play support as well now. So players that can swap their roles and just get the comfortable champion and the matchup that they want. And looking at today's schedule right here, SUVO Haters versus Poro Patrol, that's the game 1. Match 2, Jettfire's Dojo versus Syndicate. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a more of a mixture of bottom tier teams playing today, especially the bot 4 teams, I would say, and SUVO Haters. So I think SUVO Haters should be looking to win this one, considering that they have beaten Syndicate and they have beaten other teams as well. So they are looking quite strong, quite underrated for sure. The dark horse, as you had said the other day. So yeah, this is the matchup of the day: Poro Patrol versus SUVO Haters. I think it's going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, like you said, SUVO Haters undefeated until that last series against SUVO Esports, and pretty much every team coming against SUVO Esports have, coming up with that defeat against them. So until then, or after that as well, SUVO Haters will be looking to continue their dominance, because if you're beating a team like Syndicate in a 2-0 fashion, that speaks volumes about how your team does. But now, talking about today, SUVO Haters is going to be starting on the blue side, Poro Patrol on the right. We have most members from Poro Patrol. This time we're going to have a Broken Blade in the jungle. We were missing him out quite a bit yesterday. Oh, sorry, no, the last time we were casting this team, and we were talking about how much of an impact Broken Blade brings on the team. And as soon as they see that Broken Blade is playing for Poro Patrol, SUVO Haters is going to be banning out the Lee that Broken Blade had brought out.
Yeah, and that just tells you that this research has been there from the side of SUVO Haters, banning the junglers against Broken Blade. And I'm very interested to see what Void pulls out for himself. I think he has been the star performer in this SUVO Haters squad. For sure, I would say, and especially playing out his Aatrox, I think he did a great job, even though he was playing against SATUL. His Yasuo was there as well. Left a lot to be desired, honestly, but I think that's all right as we speak about the Aatrox and it's going to get banned. The Yone as well is one of his favorites. So we'll be keeping an eye on that top side of the map as well, between Jean and Void.
Yeah, Navoid is pretty good. Navoid and Itachi sometimes switching it up. Remember one matchup where Navoid ends up playing, like you said, his Yasuo did leave a lot to be desired, a lot of falls coming in that player, but unfortunately nothing can be done in that point. But yes, Navoid with his Yone did quite well against Zuko's set. Pretty much lifted him topside and had to be pretty star performance. Like you said, one of the star players to watch out. But continuing with the draft, Malzahar ban from the side of SUVO Haters. The Olaf ban against Navoid in the top side. And RD's Champool hasn't been touched quite a bit. We know how well he does play the Yorick, and it is a surprise coming into some of these matchups, and it does prove a lot, because with his Yorick, he provides a lot of efficiency early on in the game, and tries to get his team to snowball that side. But let's see what SUVO Haters want to target from the side of Poro Patrol. We know that Invoker does play a mean Tristan, and that's exactly what gets banned out against him. They had an interesting strategy going into Revenants about how they wanted to, first pick it instead, but Revenants did their homework, banned that out against him. So this is where the drafts come into effect. The Fearless draft especially plays a pivotal role in how you want to draft. But I think Poro Patrol playing with two substitutes, I wouldn't call Broken Blade more, I'd call him more of the star player who just doesn't show up from time to time. But Smolder ban against one above all. We did see last time when SUVO haters had first pick, they had, first pick the Smolder for themselves. But unfortunately, the Little Dragon could not do much in the hands of the ADC of SUVO haters.
Yeah, 100%. I think draft matters a lot. The Smolder getting banned against one above all right there. One above all did pick it against SATUL. So these are a lot of champions that were picked in the previous series. Not the Olaf, but we had seen that as well as the Braum first pick comes in. Not a big fan of that, obviously, because it's more of a counter pick. It's not a blind pick. But that does indicate that one above all might be looking to pick something like a Jinx for himself and to do well in these sort of team fights while we wait for Poro Patrol to show their first and second pick. I think this should be a jungle pick, as you said, for Broken Blade. The Senna comes in. I think I like that quite a lot against Braum. A very rangy champion. Might lack damage come the late game or the mid game as well. I think Senna does not do as much damage as the conventional AD carries. But it's very interesting to see what they are going to pair the Senna up with.
Yeah, and like you said, Senna ADC but can be support, can be flexed quite a bit, but no, it's going to be the ADC. It's going to be Tarek's locking in his Tarek. He's one of the few players who does actually play Tarek in the scene, and he did do a pretty good job in their matchup for themselves against Phoenix Ascension. So let's see how well they do for themselves. But that's the bot lane that gets locked up for Poro Patrol. Let's see what SUVO haters want to answer back with. The Lucian is open as well. The Lucian Braum, a very deadly combo. The Kai'Sa Braum, a deadly combo on the bot side, but you lack a bit of range. But might just be that Jinx that goes into one above's hand, because they really do play well with the Jinx in their column. They protect the Jinx quite a bit. The peel is always there. The Void's always a threat. So there are a lot of less ways that you can look around to catch out the ADC. So one of all, locking in one of his favorite picks going to be that Jinx. And now let's see what the blind pick will be. The Ahri blind pick, not so bad whatsoever. Let's see if Itachi wants to lock that in. A lot of times when we see teams playing against Itachi, his Talia is the one that ends up getting banned. It's still left open, but no, it's going to be the Ahri that gets locked in. Let's see what Poro Patrol wants to answer back with.
Yeah, I really like that Ahri pickup, honestly. It's a very blindable champion. You can pick it blind. I don't think there's too many bad matchups for Ahri. As you said, the Talia is good as well, but you do need some sort of a CC jungler like a Vi, like a Pantheon with the Talia to set her up beautifully. But the Ahri can manage on her own, as the answer to the Ahri will be Annie in the mid lane. Again, I like the matchup for Ahri. I think you can stay in your range, farm up, and then just unleash in these sort of team fights. Interestingly, still no jungle picks coming in at all. So I think that is going to be a focus, at least from the side of SUVO haters, while I do think that Poro Patrol might look towards that top side of the map and might want to ban out the Yone and the other things that Navoid plays.
Yeah, and just talking about that, the Nocturne ban coming out from Poro Patrol. Let's see what SUVO haters want to answer back. Yeah, because I think now, given the state of the draft, you do want to target Navoid quite a bit, narrow down his champion pool, because like you said, he is known to perform quite well in the top side. It should give some Jun some time to relax against him. But no, they're going to opt to ban out RDE's Nocturne instead, and instantly SUVO haters going to answer back with the Jarvan ban against Poro Patrol. So Broken Blade not going to be able to play this champion. He did have a pretty good Lee Sin game. I think was almost MVP like as well against the Phoenix Ascension side. So you have to think about how you want to play your champions. And his Nocturne does come in clutch. He is known to do his Yuntal's build sometimes on the Nocturne as well. But at least the second part of the banning, Poro Patrol going to focus on the Mord ban against Navoid in the top side. And his champ pool has been reduced quite a bit. Let's see what he actually ends up picking for himself and what SUVO haters want to go with their last ban.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the Yone available, so I don't think it should be a problem for him. But it is going to be a blind pick, so I think that might be, a bit of a problem. Having said that, the Renekton gets banned, so don't want to play against that champion. Uh, Very weird draft strategy. Both the teams, looking to ban one jungler each, and then they ban one top laner each. So not fully focusing on one role. Let's see what the pick for Broken Blade is going to be, assuming that Jun wants to counter pick at top, and that's exactly what's happening. The Amumu gets locked in for the side of Broken Blade. Again, strong champion, not the best jungler though, so we'll have to see how that one works. But Yone, I think we were expecting that to come in if it was left open so late in the draft, and I think that's going to be the pickup for Navoid. And as you said, the Yorick is still open if RD wants to pick that up for himself.
Exactly, the Yorick is still left open. Let's see what RD has cooking up, because he is known to play just not the meta junglers. His Viego is also pretty strong. Here, you can transform quite a bit, get your resets out. Like you said, Broken Blade on Amumu is not going to have the same impact like he has on Elysium, because Amumu much more of the supportive role on the way he goes in. He has to hit big man ultimates. That's about how he's going to play it for him. But RD is ticking down the clock. It's going to be the Lilia getting locked up in for himself. It does make some sense because a bit AP lacking. You only had the RE. But I still would have maybe liked to see his Yorick coming out over here, just come out of the guns blazing. You have more CC available. But yes, I have not seen that much RD playing Lilia, but I'm more excited to see what Red Devil is going to be pulling out with himself. And Jun, to answer against the Yone, is going to be locking in the Jax top for himself. Jax jungle also comes quite a bit, no matter RD himself has been playing quite a bit. But this game, at least, it's going to be Jun, Jax top. And just talking about the draft-wise, this seems a bit strong from SUVO hater side.
Yeah, it's a good draft for them, especially considering you are playing against 3 melee champions as a Braum. So the stacks will come in quite easily, especially when you have such a hyper AD carry in your team as well, in the form of Jinx, who can match the range, by the way, coming out from the Senna in these team fights. And it is going to be pretty hard to reach her as well if you're the Amumu, if you're the Annie. So yeah, I do like what SUVO haters have drafted for themselves, especially the solo lanes. I would say Ari is a great pickup. Yone Blind, not a big fan of it, honestly, but Navoid has shown us that he can play that champion pretty well. But that matchup into the Jax does scare me quite a bit. If the Jax can get rolling, then he's going to have a really fun time against the Yone. You can block everything that the Yone wants to do with your counter strike. So there might be some hiccups, some struggles for Navoid in this game, but if he can manage that, I think it's a really good draft coming out of SUVO haters.
Exactly, and even the game were set against the Yone, where some were like targeting that Zuko comes out on top. Now Void does excellent over there, and he had blind picked the Yone for himself there. So that's how confident he's in his abilities playing the champion in the top side. More interestingly, I want to see how Jazz is bot is gonna do on the Annie, because he's typically had started off the tournament, even qualifier round, as their support player, and Terex was originally their mid. But now it's a bit of a role reversal, and he hasn't been performing quite that well in the mid role as of yet. Hope to see better things coming out from him today, especially with this Kongkangan, and we have 2 more substitutes in your team coming for themselves, because this is how I think a couple of members were running late, so they just decided to put in Jun instead. But let's see how they perform. Like you said, Senna nerfed a bit in the previous patch, just before this patch came out. The souls less you're going to collect as well. So let's see how Invoker plays that out, because we haven't seen Invoker play the Senna as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, it was nerfed. The soul drop rate did decrease from 14 to 10%. So I think that is quite significant, honestly. That's almost like 33%, 30% drop. So I think that might be a problem. I do feel like Poro Patrol might not have enough damage in the comp, especially considering the Senna requires a lot of time to scale up. The Jax as well with a couple of items. The only true damage that they have is Annie, who can just wreak havoc from level 6 itself, while on the other side you can see a good mixture of everything, good AP damage coming in. The Braum to tank, the Jinx as well for the AD damage. So I think when it comes to draft, I do give the edge to SUVO haters, and I think they should be the favorites as well coming into this series, specifically against Poro Patrol, who are still yet to pick up a win for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like you said, Poro Patrol haven't picked up a win for themselves. They have picked up 1 point, dropping, like getting a game against Phoenix Ascension in that best of three. That's the only point Poro Patrol has. While as SUVO haters pretty much have won every series, only dropping to SE12 Esports, the top dogs right now. So that you can't even fault them that much. They did pretty good fight against them, right? They survived quite a bit in the early parts. It looked like they were equal, at least in game one, quite a bit against SE12 Esports. So that shows you that this team is something you have to reckon with. Like I said, keep on saying, these are the dark horses, honestly, coming to it, and people have to watch out. And this is the time, like you said, week 3 is where the points start to completely actually like manifest in terms of leaderboard and how you want to see it and who's actually at which place in the table. And this is where Poro Patrol really needs to get some points for this. The Bangladeshi side really needs to pick up points, start playing like they really want to play. And especially now I want to see with Broken Blade in the roster, like he's going to be in the playing 5 today. Let's see how well they can perform and how well Broken Blade calls, because usually it's going to be the jungler and support calling. So now with the change in jungler, maybe it changes a bit about how their macro also changes.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, as you said, the table will shape up more after this game week and the next one as well. We'll have a clear picture of who might finish in the top 4. We'll definitely know who's going to finish like in the bottom 2 or 3. And then the top 6, 7 teams maybe can fight it out for the last spot. So I think that is going to be quite interesting. And as you said, playing with a substitute, it seems like, is Poro Patrol. Having only gained 1 point so far. So if they want to make the top 4, they have to win this series. Like there's no two ways about it. They have their work cut out for them. Win this series, win the next one, and then start stacking up these victories. That SUVO haters have already done to start off the tournament. 2 back-to-back 2-0 against really good teams as well. And only losing out to SATUL. So they will be thinking like, they did have a great series against SATUL. Yes, they lost, but there were some fight in them. It was a close game till it really wasn't. So those are the positives that I think as SUVO haters can pick up for themselves. And looking at the draft, I mean, it looks like they should be the favorite to win this one as well.
Yeah, the draft is looking good for them. They're uncomfortable picks of themselves. Poro Patrol a bit hesitant, but at least the game that they had won against Phoenix Ascension was when Broken Blade was playing it, so that maybe puts a pep in the step about how they want to deal out of it. I'm really honestly not that confident in Invoker on the Senna on the bot side, but hopefully with the poke damage against that blind Brom pick, they can do some things for themselves. And apparently, according to people in the chat, RD's Lilia is better than his Yorick. So I'm very excited to see how his Lilia is going to perform, honestly, because every time he's brought out the Yorick, at least he's had a pretty dominant early to mid game for himself, where he's at least going 5-1 up or 6-1 up. So he is one of those junglers who does like to get early leads, like to snowball with them, tries to get his team ahead that way. So it also depends on like the mentality going into the match. Like you said, they put up a good fight against SUVO Esports, and that's going to be playing in the mind that they can step up and be a part of this competition at a very high level. And I think honestly that does give them a lot of confidence heading into week 3 over here, into this game against Poro Patrol. And it's yet to be seen how this game fares out. And please, in the chat, please make sure to vote or show your support for your favorite teams. Who do you guys think won the draft? Who do you guys think is going to win the series? And on that note, Kaka, any predictions for this best of 3?
Man, I'm not a betting man, but I would say like a 2-0 for SUVO haters looks like the most likeliest outcome, honestly. But that's just based on the matches we have seen so far in this tournament from both sides, Poro Patrol and SUVO haters. Itachi has looked great on the RE previously. That was against Syndicate, if I'm not wrong, and he was dictating how the game went for his team. So that was really good to look at. And Yone, we saw against again, I think it was Syndicate or Zuko's set, as you rightly called. So I think that's a matchup Yone should lose, but Navoid did really well and got the solo kills and did so much work for his team. So I think they should be the firm favorites in this one. And having said that, like they do have the Yorick still left open if they want to pick it up in the second. As you said, RD does play a better Lilia. We'll watch. We'll see what exactly happens. But the Yorick was pretty good against SATUL as well. And it's still open. So in second game, if they want to early pick that, I think that would give them a massive edge as well.
Absolutely, and you see that most teams target RD quite a bit in the draft, but he wasn't targeted at all till at least the second phase. It's only his Nocturne that was banned out against. So Poro Patrol may be confident, or at least Broken Blade confident against playing whatever jungle that RT is going to be bringing out for him. But on that note, guys, please make sure to follow all our social media. The links are in the description box below. Follow the Discord, LOL, INSA server. We have a lot of fun events, especially right now. The weekend skirmish is going to come live. It's going to be 30th, will be the auction. So you want to keep your eyes tuned for that. And we have a lot of fun events, fun games where you can just win prizes from time to time, especially free skins. So you don't want to miss out on that. So make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. But yeah, continue on with the series. I think it's a bit tough. Like you said, at least both BO3s today a bit on the bottomer side of the table, except for the SUVO hater side. Rest have, barely managed or have not got points for themselves. Syndicate, a team we thought maybe a very strong standing for themselves, honestly, are not looking at all good in this tournament, at least this far.
Yeah, so far they haven't looked like they should on paper. And I think that match against Jettfire's Dojo, they have to win that one if they want to qualify, because if not, it's going to be pretty long tournament for them as well. So and these bottom of the standings matches can be quite unpredictable. You can't really tell who is going to beat who and who's going to win against who. So I think that's going to be very tough to call as well. And this series, maybe it is on paper at least SUVO haters should win, but if Poro Patrol wins game 1, then anything could happen. We could go to 3 games. Maybe Poro Patrol wins 2 matches in a row as well. We never know. So these sort of clashes are very unpredictable, and that's why they are more enjoyable as well, because you're gonna see some blood being spilled out for sure. The macro goes out of the window, and it's just fighting for victory. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Exactly like you said, we just brawl it out punch for punch essentially on the rift at that point. And even the match of like SUVO haters against Syndicate, like Syndicate was the favorite coming into that, but SUVO haters blew us away with the 2-0 from themselves. So like you said, anything can happen, anything does go in these kind of matchups where it's a bit unpredictable how it goes. But you predicted 2-0 SUVO haters. Even I would agree, maybe for a slight change, maybe 2-1 SUVO haters, but I honestly think SUVO haters this day is the top dog. Poro Patrol maybe can fight back because they did get a game against Phoenix Essential, but like we said, Phoenix Essential also not performing to the point where we think that of their potential, right? They were like the 3rd team to qualify, but they haven't been performing up to that standard as of yet.
100%, yeah, and maybe they'll pick it up in this week. Who knows? But Phoenix has not performed to their levels. They did qualify from qualifier 1 itself, so technically they should be in one of the top 3 teams. In the previous tournaments as well, we have seen them finish in the top 3-4, have won a few tournaments as well. So we have high expectations from the Sri Lankan boys for sure. And so far they have not showed up, but still they are in quite an okay spot, I would say. Really more to come from them as we go into the game 1 between SUVO haters and Poro Patrol right here. And as you can see, 5-man strong going towards the top side of the map. I think this is just an expectation that Jun might be fishing on the jacks. So I think it's always smart to invade that top side of the map. Just look for the jacks if you can find them. Unfortunately, they could not, but they are going to remove the ward. Sweeper start by Lean. He might want to change it once he goes back, but a very, very small lead, I would say, for the side of SUVO haters. Itachi 1-2-1-2 getting that 25-30 goal for himself.
Minions have spawned.
It does seem like that, but otherwise Terex on the bot side protecting his map. They understand there are a lot of picks coming that we want to put that deep ward, because we had spotted quite a bit of members of SUVO Jun just playing it safe after a lot was going down top side. Speaking of Summoner, Jun will be running the Congress of the more now. A lot of people running lethal tempo, especially in the top side matchups where you want to try and win out. But Invoker bot side with the fleet footwork, the Guardian for Terex, the Guardian for Lean, the lethal tempo for one above all. So everything else pretty standard in terms of itemization, at least over here. Bot side, look at this fight will be breaking out, but Ari gets a bit of a CS lead over there. I think the matchup to watch out for is Jun against Navoid in the top side. Navoid nicely keeping the spacing out of the counter-strike weight, doesn't get stunned, and laning continues over here. But Navoid, after the counter-strike goes down, it has a pretty big cooldown, so he does punish Jun quite a bit after that.
Yeah, and I would have really liked to see the Jax run Grasp of the Undying. I think that just makes the matchup quite hard for the Yone to win, let alone play it. And as you said, misses the counter strike, and you can already see the CS difference coming in 10-0 towards the top side of the map. Jun taking half of his HP bar as well at level 1, as the Braum Q is going to miss. I think that would have been a dead invoker. Certainly would have had to burn his cleanse there if he had gotten caught there. But, Navoid doing really well for himself so far towards the top side.
Yeah, Navoid doing pretty good. This is what we expect from this man on his Yone. And Jun got a bit lacking after using Counter-Strike quite a bit early. He does jump forward, does Q in, does keep the range of Counter-Strike, but doesn't land it onto Navoid. The charm going pretty wide from Itachi, and look at Navoid. Look at the trades coming in. Jun has to just Counter-Strike to try and get away, but Navoid chasing up, flashes forward, gets the pick off. So Flash is being traded topside between Navoid and Jun. Now Flashless Yone, Flashless Jax, and pressure being dominated pretty early on. Now the Void has to be careful. Broken Blade will be spotted by the Ward. He does clean it with his sweeper. The stun from Invoker lands onto Braum, but you're not going to do much damage otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that flash coming out from either of them. Honestly, I don't think the Void had lethal on to the Jax, and I certainly don't think Jun needed to flash away, but I think that was more of just a reflex that if you see the enemy flashing, you just assume that you might end up dying. But I think Jun was pretty fine there. Nevertheless, a flash exchange, and we see both the junglers towards the top side of the map. The Raptor Cam going to respawn for the Lilia, so she'll be able to catch that as well once she recalls and goes back. And on the other side, Broken Blade running towards that bot. Scuttle Crab wants to secure that for himself, and then he will be looking to recall as well. Some sort of tempo advantage for the side of RD on the Lilia as of now.
He does have a bit tempo advantage. You can see Amumu is looking for maybe something mid-side, but I don't think you can actually catch anything. He does get the Scuttle. He's walking into RD's jungle. Will be recalling right next to him. Broken Blade maybe wants to go on to the Lilia, but I don't think he has anything. He's just trying to maybe go for the steal instead. I think he does end up picking up RD. Goes for Broken Blade, flash forward. The bandages land onto Itachi. Itachi has to run away. The second bandage lands as well. Now Broken Blade doesn't have a flash, nowhere to go. You want to get the kill over to the Jinx, but the W doesn't land. Jinx flashes forward to try and take the kill, but unfortunately it's going to be Itachi who claims it. So now you have a Jinx burning flash for no reason pretty much. The charm lands, the stuns connect. That's going to be a dead Terex, and in the blink of an eye, 2 kills picked up for Itachi, 4 SUVO hitters, 1 kill away from the feats of warfare.
Yeah, and it all comes from the over-aggression from Poro Patrol. I'm not too sure what Broken Blade is trying there. Flash queuing the Ari when she has her flash up, and you can clearly see the Annie is not going to follow up. Burns his flash, ends up dying. Props to SVH right there, especially the bot lane. They are the first bot lane to move towards the action there, and we saw one above all burning his flash, but not getting the kills always sucks. But I think getting 2 kills onto your mid laner is never a bad thing. But yeah, some sort of miscommunication there for sure. I'm sure Itachi could have just told him that I'm gonna pick this one up for me, so you don't have to burn anything for it. So one above all just loses his flash essentially for nothing.
Yeah, pretty much a feels bad moment for the Jinx over there. Bot side Tex was very close to cancelling the recall of one above all, just doesn't get in time. Itachi running low on mana, probably wants to get this wave and get his back. Jazz's bot is flashless as well after the exchanges that were done against him. Broken Blade is coming back. Itachi does not have mana, does not have ultimate, but no, is smart enough, walks away from the exchange. Drake has been up for 1 minute 30 seconds, no team trying to get prio onto it. Navoid easily just freezing the wave over here. Jun just going to be taking a recall instead, and we have slowed down in the action after those 2 kills, but that's very important kills going on to Itachi. He still hasn't got a reset for himself. He needs to come back with better items, but he just wants to get that final wave pushed in while Annie was steeping back to the mid lane.
Yeah, I think he could have recalled in on the previous wave itself, just being a little bit greedy there, but not getting punished. So but he won't mind that at all. I do expect him to pick up the lost chapter. And there you go, very close to Luden's Tempest. It looks like the item of choice. Would have really loved to see the Malignance come in for the Ari, but Luden's Tempest, I think it's fine if you're snowballing. So not a bad choice, but I just preferred, the Malignance much more on Ari especially. I think that's what the Annie is going to build as well. And now the action has sort of stalled down, but we do see the dragon being started from the side of RD right there. The bot lane having so much priority. Even Itachi can just leave the wave for now and group up with his team to secure the dragon for them.
He does secure the Drake, but now fight might break out. Drex tries to land the stun. Unfortunately, doesn't. The bandages do land. It does land onto RD. Flashes away. The shield from Braum going to save him from pretty much else damage. Grubs are now spawned on the map. Drake was picked up. The counter strike from Jin going to land on Navoid, but Navoid does not mind trading. But this is a level 6 Zac with steel caps. You might have to be a bit careful. But Jun counter strikes away. The ultimate from Navoid gets flashed away from Jun. So now Jax again without flash. Navoid still has his flash, but ultimate down. And laning phase going really well for Navoid in the top side with his blind pick unit. Oh, Artie's here from around the corner. Artie might try to catch out onto here. The charm doesn't connect. The counter strike will land, but the flash forward from Navoid will secure the kill. That's going to be the feats of warfare picked up for SUVO haters.
Yeah, really good roam coming out from Itachi 1-2-1-2 right there. I mean, he's gonna sack a wave or two for it, but I think that's completely worth it as long as you can secure the feat of warfare and a kill for Navoid. I think he could have just autoed Jun here.
I know.
As soon as you do that, you get the reset onto your ultimate and you can always R out. But maybe he wanted to give the kill away. Nevertheless, there you go. Lean actually goes down to the burst of Annie. Exhausted him very, very late right there. As the smite will come through, and it looks like 2 grubs have been secured by the side of SVH right there. I am not too sure about that one. It does show on the UX that has happened. So again, another objective picked up, and one more, and they will secure the feats of strength for themselves.
Exactly. Very crucial smite comes in at the last point. They pick up 2 of the grubs. A bit unfortunate pacing for them, but that has to be said because Poro Patrol's top laner had just gone down to that, roam from Itachi. Like you said, very good roam. I also do prefer the Megligans in this situation. Invoker has to be a bit careful. Like you had landed, it could have spelled a bit of trouble for him, but one above all doesn't mind farming. He gets his perfect recall in the first one back, picks up a BF sword from him. It's going to be, every ADC's delight on the first back, especially as a Jinx, to pick up a BF sword for yourself. But talking elsewhere, RD's picked up the Dark Seal. No stacks on it as of yet. It's after the 2 assists he picked up earlier on. 1 kill does go over to Jazz's spot on his Annie. We haven't seen much active pack from him, but like you said, burst down quite a bit onto Lean over there. But Lean does his job to allow SUVO to pick up 2 grubs for himself while giving up his life. Forward by Itachi, the charm doesn't connect. The electrocute does proc onto Jazz's bot, so quite a bit of damage. So Jazz's bot has to be careful. His TP is not back up, has to probably walk back into lane if he wants to go back, but gets stopped by the super mega death rocket from the Jinx that came in. So Jinx delaying and helping out Itachi in the mid lane. So the waves that he did miss on the roam top side, going to pick it up in pretty good fashion and get a pretty good XP lead for himself.
Yeah, 100%. Now you can see Jun has started to win these trades because of the plated steel caps and the Bramble Wisp coming in, reducing the healing from the Yone. And I think that would have been a solo kill for sure had the charm connected for Itachi in the mid lane. But unfortunately did miss that one as the Malignance is completed for the Annie right now. And yeah, some sort of tempo break for the Annie right there because of the Jinx rocket. It's going to hurt her a bit. Counter strike used for Jun, so Navoid uses this opportunity to poke him out a bit. As the dragon, I'm sure, is going to spawn in 1 minute's time right there. The Scuttle Crab is picked up by a Broken Blade. He's looking for a hook, is not able to connect. Terex lands the 2-man stun, and this is going to be the Amumu ultimate. The Annie is here first, and that's going to be 2 kills for the side of Poro Patrol.
Yeah, they're gonna answer back pretty good. I think a bit overextension from the side of True Raiders not being aware that Annie's gone for the room. Itachi, we have called it out, maybe just not listen. The charms, unfortunately for Itachi, just not landing as of yet. And you do see him pick up a CS lead, but that's after Annie roamed down, picked up a kill for the bot side. One above all, in a bit of trouble, has to flash away from the bandage toss that was coming out from the Mumu. Gets away, but now that's a flash, less jinx for the rest of the part. The Drake coming up in 20 seconds. This is a good tempo pick up from Poro Patrol, especially around objective timers for themselves. One of them is going to stick into lane. A recall going to be coming out from Broken Blade, and they're going to be trying to march back to the Drake for another 3v3 fight later.
Yeah, Broken Blade is recalling, so well, we can see why he has his item up. Itachi 1-2-1-2 getting a nice trade onto the Annie, but I don't think that's required at all. You might send her back, but she does have her TP available, it looks like, so she can just go back and come for the dragon fight. But that has been started from the side of RD and SVH, and if they can finish that one up in time, then I think there's no harm and foul at all. And the Itachi 1-2-1-2 is going to get hooked by Broken Blade, who has entered the pit. This does not have the smite available actually, so that's going to miss out for them right there. And let's see if more kills come in. RD does end up going down. Double man root lands. Terex is there with the stun as well. The bandage toss comes in from the side of Broken Blade as Invoker picks another kill. The Annie summons Tibbers onto Lean's head, and that's going to be another kill. So a 3-0 for the side of Poro Patrol, and SUVO haters get away with just the dragon.
Yeah, Drake going down because, like you said, Broken Blade Smite wasn't up. He really wanted to, take down Lilia before she can take the Drake, but no, Smite goes down. An excellent flash route from Invoker, like she said, double man. You pick up more kills from yourself and you do pretty fine. Now the Jinx is 0-1-0, has Unitals completed, but so does the Senna, has her static shift. You have a Phage in the pocket as well, and Jazz's bot is pretty fed as well. 3-0-2 on this Annie, and once we were talking about during the draft phase, Jazzbot has to step up as a mid laner right now, and that's exactly what he's doing for his team. Broken Blade's going for more util in team fights especially, and Shooters do pick up Drake like you said, but lose 3 members. It's a bit of a heavy loss for their side, and Invoker is doing pretty well on the Senna as of yet. Broken Blade's coming around the corner over here, flash for the bandage toss, lands the ultimate, completely whiffed from the Brawn. One above all pops the barrier, but I don't think that saves his life. He goes down. Lean trying to run for the hills. The Q connects onto Broken Blade, but how much can this little Braum run? He's just trying to buy as much time as he can, but unfortunately it's going to be a double kill picked up for the side of Senna. But on the top side, the sleep lands from RD onto Jun. Jun ends up going down. Second time he's dying underneath his turret. So while the bot is showing their prowess, the Void in the top side with the help of Lilia picks up the second kill onto Jun.
Yeah, now look at the score of the carries from the side of Poro Patrol. 3-0-2 on the Annie, 4-0-3 on the Senna, who is picking up quite a lot of these kills in these fights. And Broken Blade has done a great job just showing up towards that bot side of the map. Lean and one above all, not clearly respecting the ganks enough, as you can see by their scoreline 0-6-1 combined. Not having the best game so far. And this Senna, if she gets further ahead, I think it's going to be a very long game for the side of SUVO haters.
Exactly, like you put it, 4-0-3 already for the Senna. Invoker doing pretty well. We were slightly doubting the Senna pick, draft wise, but it is coming into fruition over here. Lean got quite a bit caught out, but Terex walking pretty deep, has to flash away, doesn't have the ultimate to pop, but will not end up popping it. Jazz's bot trying to run for himself, but he's also flashes. One above all picks up a very crucial goal in his pocket. This is going to be the Rift Herald going over to the side of SUVO haters. This is them. They've already picked up the feats of strength, but they are dominating in terms of jungle objectives. The only thing that Poro Patrol have managed to pick up for themselves is one of the grubs.
Yeah, the Rift Herald goes down. It was a 2-0 for the side of SUVO haters, and Navoid showing up right there with his ultimate onto Terex, secures that kill for his team, as they might be able to take this tier 1 mid turret as well right here. Let's see if they want to finish it. No, they can't. Broken Blade coming in, looking for the bandage toss, has the ultimate almost up as well. So let's see if he wants to dive. He does go in, tanking the turret right there. I don't think that was a smart choice, but the ultimate from Taric comes in, is going to save the Amumu actually. So it works out really well for the side of Broken Blade. Again, using his ultimate, securing the kill, another kill onto the Senna, who goes 5-0 and 3. And Lean losing his life, but saving his AD carries.
Yeah, his AD carry was almost about to go down, has to pop his own barrier. The Jinx pops barrier just to survive. He's even gone Merc Treads in this matchup, given the amount of CC, given the amount of magic damage that will be coming on him later. Itachi going to be walking to lane, but he has to be careful. Jezebot is across that side of the wall, doesn't have flash to come in for the instant timbers onto Ari. That could have been the lockdown kill, but no. Itachi pretty safe. 2-0-3 has the Ludens completed, has the Storm Surge completed for himself. But Tex going to be clearing quite a crucial bit of vision. Drake, third Drake of the matchup, going to be coming in around 15 seconds time. Jun has shifted to the bot side, is in a pretty good spot for this. I would have maybe like to say put some top pressure and just TP in for the fight instead, but no, this is the choice that they want to go for. Lean puts another ward across the wall that side, gets spotted out by Jezebot. Itachi goes in, the charm lands, it connects onto Invoker, but they can't lock him in as of yet. But no, the Super Mega Death Rocket claims the kill. Tex has to be careful. The ultimate from the Yone does connect. That's going to be both the bot lane duo or Port Patrol going down. The tier 1 falling for them, and them going to be able to claim their third Drake of the game.
Yeah, third Drake already. That's going to be the Cloud Drake for them as we look at the instant replay right here. Itachi goes and connects the charm onto the 5-0 and 3 Senna. That's who you want to target. The Super Mega Death Rocket follows up. The Yone ultimate comes in as well, and they kill the bot side of the map for the side of Poro Patrol right there, securing another Drake for themselves. And if you can just find the target onto the Senna, who again has 2 items completed for herself, the Black Cleaver and Static Shift, the damage is not there for the side of Poro Patrol. And now we can see some sort of gold lead coming in as well for the side of SUVO haters, almost 3,000 gold ahead. And again, it's the solo lanes, the Void and the Itachi 1-2-1-2, again having such a nice game.
Exactly, and Itachi, very good dash forward into the charm. Invoker left a bit lacking, not aware that this can be played onto him, not behind the minions, gets caught out. The Mega Death Rocket follows up, and now pretty Steven, even in terms of how the pace is. Goal lead 2k in the favor of Schubert, especially after pretty much all objectives except for solely one grub going in for Patrol's favor. 2 towers of Shuvers to the 1 tower of Poro Patrol that has fallen for them. Atakan going to be up in around 15 seconds, and they have to look. If you just neutralize Invoker before these fights, most of the damage does get neutralized. The root not connecting on either member of Shuvator's bot lane, and they're in a pretty fine spot. Navoid against Jun top here. Navoid has the level advantage. Jun jumps pretty deep in. The counter strike will not connect. Navoid, as soon as the counter strike gets finished, will jump forward, try to get some chip damage. He does eat 2 turret shots for his trouble, so pretty much equalizes how the trade's gone out. Both top laners have TP if they need to come in for at a gunfight. Jezebot going to catch the Void bot side. Again, Itachi jumps forward, but the charm this time does not connect onto anywhere. It could have been quite a bit of damage coming out, especially with the Storm Surge proc. Broken Blade on this side of the wall tries to launch the battle rod, doesn't connect. Jun that is forward in. The ultimate comes in from the Void, flashed away by Jax. That's the kill claimed up. But now 3 members for Port Patrol have shown top side. This is going to allow Shuver haters to pretty much pick up an Atakan uncontested.
A big shutdown going over to Broken Blade, but as you said, the answer back is the Atakan being taken away. So I think that's another trade that SUVO haters will be very happy with. As you can see, Navoid playing very aggressive. Unfortunately, misses the ult right there as 3-man gangs comes in onto his head. And yeah, he ends up dying, but the Atakan is secured for the side of SUVO haters. So they just keep racking up these objectives, and the kills for the side of Poro Patrol kind of seem like they are meaningless because they don't have anything to show for it. No turrets taken, no objectives taken, no dragons, only 1 Void Grub picked up. So these are just hollow kills coming in for the side of Poro Patrol right now.
And Rift Herald summoned in the bot side. Jazz's bot is trying to make his way over. I don't think he gets in time. But they just leave the Rift Herald to do its duty against the turret. Try and get it down. It will pretty much end up with that for itself. That's a tier 1 bot side picked up for SUVO's Hater. Jazz's bot going to collect some gold on the Rift Herald. That's just following up. But like you said, SUVO Haters dominating the map. Maybe not in terms of kill, but definitely in terms of ejector. And every time they get a good kill for themselves or see that Poro Patrol is on the wrong side, they completely capitalize on the opportunity to take whatever is being given to them and are a bit running away, especially in terms of jungle lead. The gold lead still at around that 2k, around 1.7k right now for SUVO Haters in their favor. But Atakan picked up Soul Point on the Cloud Soul. Now Void is pretty peaceful in this fight, and you burn Jax's flash in the last fight where they dove you 3-man. Now he doesn't have a flash to get out. He gets caught up by the ultimate. That's the Void picking up a solo bolo for himself just before Drake, 1 minute before that side. And Jax, Jun, not having the best of games.
Yeah, a really good solo kill coming in from Navoid. I think it is sort of an expectation from his side now whenever he picks the Yone that he's going to perform. Now looking to secure that tier 2 top turret. If he is able to bring this one down, I think that's going to be a lot of gold picked up for him, and he will be a very happy camper should that happen, as Broken Blade is looking for the bandage toss right here. Let's see if he's able to find it. Never mind, SUVO Hater just too fast for him right there. Not going to get into any sort of trouble. Looking at the items very quickly, the second item going to come in for the side of RD, as there is some sort of a brush setup coming in. The Amumu walks in, but the Q misses from the prom, the zap misses as well, and the fight ensues as the huge Amumu ultimate connect. The Yone is here, but he does not have his ultimate up. Lean has to flash away. One above all is finding his distance as well, and I think that's a very bad team fight for the side of SUVO Haters. A 3-0 for the side of Poro Patrol.
Yeah, and you could see the setup comes in. It's nicely worked. Itachi just goes a bit too forward trying to land the charm, and Amumu goes in, lands a pretty big ultimate for himself, and the Tarek ultimate soaks up any damage being dished out onto him. Now isolated fights break out. Lean flashes over the wall, but there's no way that he's going to be safe. Now Void's left all alone. Like you said, doesn't have the ultimate because he used it on the Jack's top side, and now finally Poro Patrol, before an objective, pick up the kills for themselves, delay the Cloud Soul for SUVO Haters, and now have equalized the goal difference between them. It's bang on 40.4k for both teams, and Broken Blade coming in pretty big in this fight as well as that Tarek ultimate.
Yeah, but a very poor choice of fight, location, situation, whatever you want to call it, coming in from the side of SVH. They did not have to initiate the engage right there, especially when every skill shot misses onto the Amumu. He can just find his way and connect his ultimate, and then we saw what happened there. Void did not have his ultimate up, and the others couldn't really do anything about it since the big engage had already happened. So SVH now do have to be a bit careful because they have thrown away their lead. That was going to be the Soul Dragon for them, but unfortunately for them, that has been picked up from the side of the OP. As we see towards the bot side, Amumu comes in. Void uses his ultimate, but he's gonna end up back to his shadow anyway, so I'm not too sure where that ultimate had gone. And now the Baron has been started, but I do not think SVH has the damage to do it.
Yeah, and they have to completely back off. They cannot do this without Navoid. And like you said, I don't know what Navoid's ulting. He's going to snap back anyway. I don't know how much time he's buying, but that was a nice setup from Poro Patrol. They pick him out. The Timbers come in. Navoid's locked up for a long time in just pretty much one plate. Broken Blade is going in. The ultimate connects onto 2-man, onto one above all, onto Itachi. The carry is pretty much for SUVO Haters right now. Lean is in the back line, but he can't do much. Jun will stun up with the counter strike. RD is locked in place. That is a very delayed overall cross map. 3-0 in favor of Poro Patrol, as well as them picking up the Baron. So SUVO Haters with a bit of throw scenes coming in for them, and Poro Patrol completely capitalizing on it, taking the advantage for themselves.
100%. SUVO Haters were looking really strong except for the last two team fights, and now Broken Blade again finds the backline with his ultimate. The Ari cannot participate at all. The Jinx, the Lilia ends up going down, as well as the Braum. Void had already died, and that is going to be Baron picked up from the side of Poro Patrol, who are now 3,000 gold ahead. They are going to take all of these turrets, and they are now going to be in a very commanding situation. You look at the item difference, one above all, a whole Infinity Edge behind the Senna right now. And yeah, I think Poro Patrol might end up winning this game.
Yeah, Poro Patrol do look like they have pretty much cemented their spots right now. I want to see what they do with the Baron buff they've picked up for themselves. One above all is, like you said, one entire item by the crucial Infinity as a third item that he does need to become a nuisance in much of these team fights. Now, Void unfortunately gets caught out for a second time, this time on the bot side of the map. Can't get out. Spells disaster. SUVO Raiders shouldn't have started up the Baron because, like you said, they can't do it fast enough. Broken Blade makes his way over there. The TP comes in from TP comes in from Jun. He makes it onto the backside, and it's pretty easy for them in that fight. But CS looking good for the solo laners of SUVO haters. 237 CS for the unit, 230 for the Ari. So they're pretty good in terms of their numbers. At least Itachi hasn't died even once in such a messy game so far. Jazz's bot performing phenomenally after we were slightly criticizing him pre-draft, and I'm very happy to see that he is performing quite well, especially on this area with the simple tippers for himself. Broken Blade's been catching out quite a bit of targets whenever he's coming in for these fights. Drake going to be coming in 50 seconds. This is sole Drake for SUVO Raiders if they do manage to secure, but they don't look to be in that position. RD will catch out the Jun walking into him, but can't do much. The ball will land onto the Jax, but he's gonna pretty much walk his way out of it. Bot side, you can see a pretty good setup coming near this turret. The tier 2 will go down. Broken Blaze coming from this side. It's going to make sure that one above all and lead can't walk up. They use the Baron buff to niceness to get tier 2 mid lane for themselves and set up the Drake in a pretty good fashion.
Yeah, 100%. And the siege is coming in. We can see the sort of range that Invoker has on this Senna right now. And the Senna deals a lot of damage at this point of the game, especially considering how far behind Jinx is, not being able to get the sort of resets that he was looking for as NA. Void is going to hit the blast cone right there. I really don't think SUVO haters have, any sort of answer to this onslaught coming out from the side of Poro Patrol after making those mistakes right there. They're all gonna go back. The Shadow Flame completed for the Annie right there. The Thorn Mail completed for the Amumu, as well as the Stride Breaker for the Jax. These champions are now all looking very solid. And I'm not sure how SUVO haters can come back in this one.
Exactly, Yone is currently building the Infinity Edge for himself, but SUVO Raiders quite a bit back. Now goal lead in Poro Patrol's favor, around the 3.5k mark for themselves. Lean having a bit of a lackluster game in certain these fights, especially he gets caught out in certain angles that you don't want to be. But the monster Invoker, Jazz's bot pretty good. Now Void, you might just get caught out here. He will have to snap back. He ultimates into this side. He's got a lot of damage onto Jun before Jun can land the counter strike, but ends up going down. It's a 1-for-1 trade of top laners in that fight. RD had come, but he could not do much for his teammate. But a nice turnaround from the Void, making it a 1-for-1 for his team over there. So at the end of the day, not that bad given the position that Navoid was. It looked like he was maybe going to get caught out for no answer, but at least answers back into Jun. Jun maybe had to play a bit more safely, but Counter-Strike comes in, gets the stun, actually does help get the kill. But Infinity Edge now completed from Navoid after the kill, so he's pretty good in items for himself. It looks like the Jinx is going to be going for the last Whisper inside, so it's going to delay the Infinity Edge even more. It's going to be a bit more time before the Jinx comes online.
Yeah, 100%. I think she's going to need to complete the LDR, I think, if she decides to make that. And again, we are missing the Infinity Edge as well, as you said. So that is the item for these AD carries. That is the item that enhances the damage coming out. And for now, that is missing. And yeah, a very close fight towards the bot side. But I would still say Navoid comes out on top there, especially when you look at the items. Now he has the items that he can carry the game with. And if he can find the back line, I think there's still a chance for the side of SUVO haters.
Exactly. If he can find the back line, if he gets in when Turks is not ulting, there are a lot of variables in the fight. But like you said, there is a fighting chance for the side of SUVO haters, and hopefully we get to see what they can come out with, because they did look like they had a pretty nice and steady lead for themselves. But unfortunately, a couple of fights here and there, they throw it away. The Baron gets taken by the side of Poro Patrol. Now Poro Patrol in the driving seat. If Broken Blade lands pretty good ultimates in team fights, it can spell disaster, especially with a Jinx so far behind right now and a Senna so far ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kills just fell onto the right people for the side of Poro Patrol, especially on the Senna 6-1 and 9 now. And huge credit to Broken Blade as well. When once you look at his KDA, you'll realize what he has been doing throughout the game. Has been present in most of these situations. He's always there, always finding the backline with his ultimate. So he has been the real standout in this comeback for the side of Poro Patrol. But for the side of SUVO haters, I think they can still win this game. But they do need to get this Jinx rolling somehow, get the items in. And Lean, as you said, like not having the best game so far, has died like 7-8 times already as a Brom, and that was the first pick coming out from the side of SUVO haters as well. So he needs to pick it up, because if he does not, I think it is going to be pretty hard for the side of SUVO haters to win this one.
Yeah, I think their solo laners at least doing good for SUVO haters. The RE barely getting picked out anywhere. Get some good engages early on. Avoid doing what Avoid does. Unfortunately for him, overextends a bit sometimes. Top side, bot side gets picked out, leads to detriment, because he's the main factor in these team fights, especially with the ultimate of the Yone. Can change a lot about how, if he reaches the backline, can change how the face of the fight is looking. But unfortunately, sometimes when these fights are going, he doesn't even have his ult up, because he's used it for his own solo fights on the side lanes. But talking about items, Jinx looks like she's building the mortal reminder of herself. Makes sense given there's a Senna and a Tarek in the opposite side. Jazz's spot. I really love what this man has done so far. 5-1 and 5. He's not getting caught out quite a bit, landing good tippers in the fights. Unfortunately, RD's Lilia also a bit lacking, maybe just because of how his team has fallen behind, that the main damage not coming out from them. The Jinx pretty much non-existent team fight wise. Chose to upgrade the Merc Treads into the tier 3 just to get added less CC and less AP damage that goes on to him, but doesn't go out. Baron has now spawned. That should be in the minds of most players. You can see Jax and Ari on the both sides of the map. Both have their TP up. Broken Blade going to be picking up a red buff for the rest of his team. And let's see how these teams want to advance further on in this Rift matchup.
Yeah, so far we do see a lot of people for the side of SUVO haters staying in that top side river, but not exactly taking out these pink wards that have been put from the side of POP, as Jun is lurking around in the brush waiting for someone to come in so he can counter strike. And now we do see Poro Patrol moving in this river, getting some vision for themselves. They do have a very slow Baron take with the Senna actually, so I don't think they will be the ones to start it first, as the Mortal Reminder is finally done for the Jinx, so she can finally do some damage in these team fights. And yeah, now the game of chicken has started towards this top side of the map, especially now that the Baron is here. And let's see who ends up winning it. The Scuttle Crab has spawned, and I think that's of great value as well for the side of POP, as it's going to remove, or at least tell them where the vision is for the side of SUVO haters.
It will. Lean puts down a ward, but there is no point. There is already a pink sitting there for Poro Patrol. In the meantime, Navoid pushing mid lane quite a bit. Lean has to be careful about how he positions. He doesn't want to get caught out. One of them has to be safely. Navoid gets away. Jun still pushing the bot side. They want to pick up the wave from Shoevators right now. Maybe go right back to the Baron side. But in the meantime, when they pick up this wave, RD very smartly comes in. Will clear this pink ward for himself. Now they have the vision on Baron. The Scuttle is still there for Poro Patrol. Drake has spawned up. This is solo Drake for Shoevators. They want to. One above all might get caught out. Has to flash away from that exchange. The ultimate does land. You locked up Navoid in place. The most damage coming out from Shoevators. Gets instantly one shot over there with the Tibbers. Now the counter strike lands on to Itachi. He has to jump over the wall. Now pretty much a free Baron for the side of Poro Patrol. SUVO haters marking their Drake instead. Can they do it at a faster pace than Poro Patrol does Baron? Like you said, with a Senna, you're going to do this Baron pretty slowly. Jun going bot side, trying to deter the members of SUVO haters from taking away the Drake, but unfortunately I don't think he can do much against 4 men at the same time. So Baron gets picked up, but SUVO haters will be picking up their Cloud Soul.
Yeah, Cloud Soul secured for the side of SUVO haters. It's going to make them quite fast as well in these team fights. But I think that's a trade that POP will take, picking up the Baron for themselves. And look at the score on this Amumu right now. 4-1 and 13, 17 kill participation out of the 18 that has happened in this game so far. So a near 100% kill participation for the Amumu. And now the Baron Siege has begun for the side of POP. As I say that, they do decide to go back right now. So let's see how they want to proceed with this situation. But they should be able to secure the tier 2 turrets in top and bottom lane.
They should be looking to that. Jun tries to go into Navoid, but Navoid is pretty fair. He has to run away after the entire squad of Poro Patrol following him. He goes back in. Charm doesn't connect onto Jun. The Q does. The RD wants to protect his own red, but they locked up Jazzbot into one spot, but they still can't neutralize onto him. Navoid completely whiffs with the ultimate, doesn't get a single member. Jazzbot ends up going down. Jinx is now excited in the C5. The ultimate comes out from the Tarek. Now no more damage comes out. One above all ends up going down. Lean goes down. A nice 3-man knock up from Navoid, but unfortunately that's all he can do. He has to flash away to get out, but he goes back in, snaps back to reality, gets back, goes to home. But that is a 4-for-2 in favor of Poro Patrol. With them having Baron buff, they're going to be picking up the tier 2 bot side, the tier 3 as well as the inhibitor. Unless the Void has anything to say about it, he's going to come back into the fight. The stun lands from the tower, so does the counter strike. Now Void locked up in for quite a bit of time. Instantly he's come from base, instantly has to go back. But Jun and Terex, recognizing RD is going to be up anytime soon, choose to back away instead. So you get 2 turrets in the bot side, crucially that tier 3 for yourself, as well as a 4-for-2 in your favor.
Yeah, a lot of wins picked up from the side of Poro Patrol in the last sequence of the last 4-5 minutes right there, securing 2-3 turrets for themselves. I think could have taken the inhibitor as well if they wanted to. Decided against it. I'm really interested to see what Jun is building on this Jax right now. But having said that, yeah, I think it's a very hard game for the side of SUVO haters, as we can already see they are not able to do much in these sort of team fights, as Broken Blade is looking to initiate once again, and this might be a very massive ultimate for him. There you go, a 4-5 man ultimate comes in from the side of this Amumu, and I think that's going to be game-winning fight for the side of POP right there. Itachi has to flash away, RD running for his life as well. A 3-for-1 so far, but I think we are looking at the end of the game.
It does look like that. Broken Blade yet again coming crucial in these fights. A good ultimate from him comes out. 3 members down from SUVO haters. Poro Patrol gonna just run it in over here. You just lost Jazz's bot in that team fight, but Poro Patrol will be looking to take game 1 against SUVO haters. Itachi pretty much going to fight for his life, but there is not much you can do. RD has to be careful, just barely missing out on the bandit shot. The second one also gets dodged, but turrets still end up going down. Jun's going to hammer it. RD comes in for a last ditch effort. The ultimate gets popped by the tag. Everybody's invulnerable. Itachi can just watch, be a spectator as his Nexus goes down. Poro Patrol, after struggling quite a bit in the early stages, even taking a lead, after SUVO takes it back, Poro Patrol, in a roller coaster of a match, take game 1 in the best of 3 against SUVO haters.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a very nice comeback from the side of Poro Patrol right there. On the back of this monster performance on the Amumu by Broken Blade, just getting these multiple man engages for his team right there. I think that was very well played. And the Jinx really could not come back into the game. The Senna kept on getting ahead, and that's exactly what happens when you have a Senna who's so ahead and the Amumu just landing these sort of ultimates. I mean, look at him right now. He's gonna land, it looks like a 5-man Amumu ultimate right there. I mean, how often do you see that? and one ultimate, that was the game for the side of POP.
And that is the side game for the side of POP. The Mumu coming in clutch over here. Invoker pretty fed earlier on. Jazz's bot landing pretty good tippers in the fights. Unfortunately, except for the side laners, the main laners of SUVO, the Void and Itachi, everybody else just not doing that well. The Jinx pretty much never materialized, just given how far behind she was. But according exceeding our expectations. Poor Patrol take game one in the series. We thought Shuvo hitters can take 2-0 away, but now they have made the matchup so much more interesting. They have taken game one for themselves, locked in at least 1 point, and looking to lock in quite a bit more after such a good performance here. I think it's also because Shuva hitters threw a couple of those fights when they had that lead that Power Patrol capitalized on. So it was a bit here there. Even Power Patrol early, they had got an advantage. They threw a bit also as well. But at the end, Power Patrol comes out on top. They do a phenomenal job for themselves. I think Broken Blade coming back into the lineup changes how Power Patrol plays entirely.
Yeah, it was a very back and forth game, honestly, and could have gone either way as we look at the scorecard right here. 38 minutes, 45 seconds. So one of our really longer games in this tournament so far. The goal lead at the end of the game was 9,000. Soul actually was picked up from the side of Suvo haters, and had it been some other Soul, maybe we would be looking at a different winner. Most of the objectives were picked up from the side of Suvo haters, except for the Barons. Two of them picked up for the side of Poro Petrol, and the second one being so effective that they were able to end the game.
They end the game. They were looking quite a bit behind in terms of objectives early on. That's what we talked about. But this man came in so clutch in the later parts of the game. 6-1 and 18. The Mumu of Broken Blade, the jungler who's come in for this matchup. The damage per minute doesn't matter. The CS per minute doesn't matter. It's his ultimates in these team fights. The bandage toss is coming out. Even isolating Navoid twice. Once top side, once bot side. That, materialized in Navoid. Never snowballing the kind of lead that he had built up for himself against the Jack's top side. And I'm just really impressed how Broken Blade played over here. And he's well-deserved MVP of Game 1. Yet to see great things from him in Game 2 moving forward in the series.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that KD is absurd as well. 6-1 and 18 on the Amumu. Ending the game with a 5-man ultimate. I mean, what more can you say? It was a monster performance by the guy. And we had our doubts about the Amumu pickup, but he has silenced us for sure. I mean, that was a great performance from him. So, a deserved MVP. Having said that, guys, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, Game 2 between SVH and Poro Petrol will be starting. Welcome back, guys, to Legends Ascent South Asia. We are between this series between SVH and Poro Patrol right now, where Poro Patrol surprisingly lead 1-0 on the back of a great comeback and on the back of a heroic performance, I would say, from the side of Broken Blade on the Amumu. Deservedly got the MVP as well. But now, Madness, I think we both have been proven wrong. I mean, you did say it could end up being a 2-1 series, but I don't think we expected SUVO haters to lose the first map.
We actually did not expect them to lose the first map, especially after the comp that they had drafted for themselves. But they did not account for Mr. Broken Blade's Amumu in that matchup. They did account for the Lee Sin Bandit against him, but unfortunately they couldn't. They lost a lot of early fights as well. As Senna got far accelerated. Jinx fell quite a far behind, especially towards the later parts of the game. Always pretty much was an item behind the Senna, and that spelled detriment for the side of SUVO. But at least this time, a side swap coming in. Poro Patrol will be on the blue side, SUVO haters on the red. So Poro Patrol get their first pick. Let's see what ADC's Invoker will bring out for himself this time, because Poro Patrol with that Senna as well, with the Amumu, the 5-man ultimates coming out were pretty good against SUVO. And yet to see if RD's Yorick will get to make an appearance, because Poro Patrol did focus more on the Nocturne ban than the Yorick ban. They're more worried about his Nocturne instead, especially the kind of way it can go. It defies if you power farm as well. But without any further ado, guys, we're heading in to draft 2 over here. It's going to be the same players. No substitutions have been made as of yet. We are sitting as we need to. Let's see what Poro Patrol want to start off the banning with for themselves.
Yeah, and they have lost a couple of picks for themselves as well, as the Aatrox is going to get banned. Terex playing the Taric already, and for the opposite side as well, the Yone is gone now, the Ari is gone now, so that's a lot of comfort that is gone from the side of SUVO haters. The Braum and Jinx as well for the side of One Above All. And if we see the Smolder ban coming in, then I'm not too sure what One Above All is going to pick up for himself. The Lee Sin gets banned once again against Broken Blade. And I think that's smart. I think now they do need to ban out this guy because he had such a nice performance in game 1.
Exactly. With the Amumu gets the MVP for himself. Even the Lee Sin game that he had played against Phoenix Ascension, MVP-like performance. But Poro Patrol gonna stick to their game plan, at least in terms of banning. It's going to be the Aatrox, the Olaf banned against Navoid in the top side. Unfortunately, can't play the Yone anymore due to fearless draft rules. Let's see what he chooses to bring out. Last time Poro Patrol even had banned the Mord, I believe it, against him in the second phase. But up to SUVO haters now. Who do they want to target? Who do they think is much of a threat? I think it should be a lot in Broken. But no, they're going to stick to the Malzahar ban against Jazz's Bot. Jazz's Bot had a pretty good performance, and especially compared to his previous performance while he was playing mid for this team. Traditionally a support player, but Terex has picked up the role. Jazz's Bot is in the mid lane. His Annie did pretty well. I really want to see Itachi perform as well, because he did do pretty good in the laning phase, but unfortunately later on could not do much. And that's also because his team was pretty far behind. The Nocturne ban continues for Poro Patrol, so they're going to stick to their first 3 bans of the of game 1. And if SUVO haters are going to follow suit, it should be a Tristana ban coming out from them.
Yeah, and that is the expectation right now, the Tristana ban coming in. But if it's not, I'm pretty sure Invoker will be more than happy to pick that one up for himself. But as we had predicted, that is exactly what's going to happen. But the Smolder was left open. The Nocturne actually was banned from the side of Poro Patrol this time around. And now the Smolder picks, Smolder becomes that priority pick, and it's going to get picked up for the side of Invoker.
Exactly what happens there. Smolder gets picked up for Invoker here. Highly scaling champion. And if Poro Patrol, if last game is anything to be talked about, that is games going to a late extent. 38 minutes is pretty much one of the longest games that you will be seeing. But let's see what SUVO is going to do. They're going to be picking up a Samira for themselves over here, Kaka.
Yeah, if the Samira comes in, you do expect the Rel or the Nautilus to follow up as well. And now that the Braum is banned, I don't think there are any more champions that they can... that can counter the Nautilus. Maybe the Morgana might be, one to look out for, as the Pantheon is going to get locked in. Now that could go anywhere towards the top, support, jungle. I mean, that champion can be played in multiple roles, so we are not sure when that ends up going. But Pantheon pickup does open up the possibility of Itachi picking up the Talia for himself. And now we see Broken Blade hovering the Kindred right now. Let's see if that gets locked in as well. Never mind, the Jarvan is going to come in instead for the side of Broken Blade. I think that's a really good pickup as well for him. The sort of champions that he plays, gank heavy and those bruiser types of champions. So a good pickup for him. And this should be the support pick coming in actually for the side of Terex. Did pick up the Taric last game, but of course that's not available. Never mind, the Hue is going to come in for Jazz in the mid lane.
Yeah, blind pick Hue coming from him. We've seen him play Hue before, but those times his ultimates weren't landing. Hopefully this time Jazz's bot will end up landing. The Pantheon, I'm pretty sure, is going in the hands of RD because he's the guy who usually likes to pilot the champion in this team. There, like you said, it's flexible. A lot of these like to play, but I'm pretty much assuming it's going into RD's hands as of yet. But the Hue gonna be answered back with the Victor in the hands of Itachi. We don't get to see his Talia in this matchup, but range at least gets matched against Hue from himself. We enter the second phase of banning. Let's see how SUVO haters want to proceed. They have to go for top bans and support bans. They're mostly gonna focus against the side of Terex or Jun. Yeah, and it's going to be Terex ban. It's going to be the Alistar against him. And I really want to see what Navoid ends up playing if Mord gets banned out here.
Yeah, I mean, I would have really liked to see the Talia come in. We spoke about it as well. It has been a champion that gets banned against Itachi 1-2-1-2 quite frequently, but it would have made just a lot more sense than the Victor right now that has come in, especially with the sort of CC that Pantheon can provide for the lockup. The Nautilus is going to get banned. The Alistair gets banned as well. So, I mean, there's still Rel and Leona up if these guys want to pick up those sort of champions, the heavy engage sort of champions for themselves. As we await the fifth and final ban coming in from the side of SUVO haters, it's going to be the Maokai actually. This is assuming that they are banning the Maokai support. I mean, that's pretty smart. Now the Rel gets banned as well. So Leona seems like the option that SUVO haters should pick for themselves, but they might just pick up their top laner right now.
Let's see what SUVO haters will be going for. The Leona is getting covered as predicted. It should end up getting locked in. Leaves open the side of SUVO haters for the counter in the top side in the hands of Navoid. Now let's see what Poro Patrol want to blind pick as their own top laner, and the support you want to match up with the Smolder. Like you said, Broken Blade, very good with these heavy engage, and with the early aggression coming out from him does pay dividends and did well. Invoker got pretty fed early on. If he does get the same kind of feeding onto him as a Smolder, that's going to pretty much blow the game pretty wide open if you can't lock him down. It's going to be Terex picking up the Thresh to go with the Smolder in the bot side. You can throw the Leona off of your ADC. You can provide the Lantern for escapes as well. Now, what does SYN want to blind pick for him? Because last time he had the counter pick, he had gone for the Jax. Couldn't do much against the Yone in lane. Couldn't do much later, but he did come in clutch in the team fights. Was a big tank for him. It's going to be a blind hover Mord and locked in for SYN.
Yeah, so like a lot of denial coming in. The Smolder, which was banned previously, picked up. The Mordekaiser that was banned previously picked up as well for the side of Poro Patrol. So they are denying a lot of champions here. And if the Pantheon can somehow go towards that top side, the Yorick is still open for the side of RD to pick up. But it looks like the Ambessa actually is going to come in. So very dive heavy comp coming in from the side of SUVO haters. I mean, I still like what they have drafted for themselves, but if this goes to around 30-40 marker, then Poro Patrol should just run away with this game.
Absolutely. If it does go to that point, like it did go last game, Poro Patrol will have a pretty good standing in it. We're going to get to see Navoid on the Ambassador top side. I had assumed when the Pantheon was getting locked in, it's going into the hands of RD because it gets banned out so many times against this team, especially. But drafts have come in, you can see, I want to see Jettfire hit more ultimates on the way, unlike what he did last time. SYN has to have a better performance laning wise, at least with his more, but against the Mesa might be a bit difficult with amount of dashes he has to dodge his Qs, get in closer, get the fights down for himself. Now Void had good fights, but last game overextends a bit, gets a bit cocky, gets caught out, and unfortunately the lead he had built up on him slowly gets neutralized by Poro Patrol, and unfortunately later on could not do much with the Yone. So let's hope to see better performance coming out, guys. Remember, guys, this is the second game in the best of 3 over here between these two guys. Poro Patrol is leading the series 1-0, and based on drafts, which side are you slightly favoring over here, Kaka? Because dive heavy comp from the side of SUVO hitters, if they can neutralize, it can be a lot for Poro Patrol.
I mean, they have to snowball this game. The Samira has to get ahead because they can't go for a scaling route against a Smolder, against the Hui. The Mordekaiser as well scales beautifully into the late game. So SUVO haters have a lot to do when it comes to playing out this draft that they have chosen for themselves. So I would say Poro Patrol have the edge. They have the wave clear, they have the late game insurance in the Smolder as well, and Jarvan can definitely carry the early game. So I do think they have a more complete draft as long as SUVO haters don't snowball this game out of control.
Exactly. It's all about, you don't want you have to play a bit more safer in your leading phases. Just build up to the point where you become monsters. The Smolder gets the executions on Jettfire, will deal a lot of poke damage essentially if he lands his abilities, his spells, and let's just hope it does go for him. Broken Blade, a bit of a change factor coming into Poro Patrol. Look like a bit of a different team compared to the last few series. Remember, the last time this man played, he was in against the Phoenix in such a match. He did help them pick up the game over there, so he is a big difference maker when he comes into the side and hopefully help Poro Patrol, sees that 2-0, go for that 2-0 win for themselves. But SUVO haters, unfortunately, even if they reverse sweep here, they can't pick up all 3 points for themselves. Unfortunately, can maximum at this point pick up 2 kills, 2 points, and this is looking a bit dire for a side that was unbeaten until their match against SUVO Esports.
Yeah, I think the expectations have caught up to them, it seems like. I mean, they should have won that game when they were in a very comfortable spot. Then Void was winning towards the top side of the map, getting those solo kills. It was just one mistake that snowballed out of control, trying to camp out in a brush instead of just going back, resetting and showing up for the dragon. They chose that fight. They ended up losing it. Then they lost a couple of fights afterwards as well, and that was it for them in game 1. But they were looking strong. Secured the feats of strength pretty early on as well. The objective control was there. So I think they threw that game pretty hard, I would say, especially in game 1. I mean, props to Broken Blade, as we have already said. But I do think SUVO haters had that one in the bag and somehow let it out. And they would be hoping that if they get that sort of a lead in this game too, that it does, history does not repeat itself, because Poro Patrol, we have seen they are capable of punishing your mistakes, and how, right? They picked up on that mistake, snowballed it out of control, and won that game 1. So really, SUVO haters will be hoping that that does not happen to them once again.
I think that the crucial point was, that bush camping that SUVO haters had gone for with the Ahri, tried to catch out on to the Amumu, doesn't land anything. Amumu goes in, the Tarek ultimate follows up with the Amumu ultimate, no damage comes in, the Void comes into the fight, but he doesn't have ultimate. I think that's the turning point, at least game 1 wise, where you thought that you are the ones being sneaky, but unfortunately just not sneaky enough. You do burn a lot of spells, it doesn't land on the targets you want. You try to neutralize the jungler just before the objective, but doesn't happen. They even managed to pick up Soul once, trying to do opportunity cost min-max, where the side of Poro Patrol go for the Baron instead. The SUVO haters pick up their Soul, but couldn't do much with the Cloud Soul at that point. The Lilia doesn't come online. The Jinx, unfortunately, was pretty much non-existent throughout that fight. And hopefully get to see a better performance from SUVO haters coming into this game. Reminder, guys, still game 2 of the best of 3. Poro Patrol winning out the series still at 1-0 mark for themselves, trying to nail their first series win in entire of Legends Ascent, because they unfortunately have only 1 point in the leaderboard so far of that game they got against Phoenix. Whereas SUVO haters were on a pretty hot streak until their last series against SETL Esports, where they went down 0-2. So a bit of, maybe like you said, expectations or pressure getting to the side of SUVO haters, where they are expected to perform pretty well, and unfortunately could not keep that lead, like you said, built up. And hopefully here, where they have this kind of calm snowball and don't let Patrol get to a point where they can start winning every single fight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as an underdog, right, you can perform to these levels and whatnot. But now that we have seen what they are capable of course, the expectations have risen for them. And yeah, they were performing well. I mean, it has to be said in the game one as well. Unfortunately, they lost it for them. But I think this could very well go to 3 games. Especially based on that game one. And we do have a series in our hands for sure. Poro Patrol as well now at least have 2 points already. And as you said, Broken Blade seems like the man. He is undefeated so far, only losing out. I mean, I don't think he has lost any games, right? As you said, the one game he played against PNX, he did end up winning that one as well. And now the MVP performance as well. So for the side of SUVO haters, I think it's down to the jungler, it's down to the support to raise up their standards, their level, because Lean and RD did not have a good game at all. The Lilia was missing throughout the game. The Braum died way too many times in the early game, and I mean kept on dying till the end of the game as well. 0-7 or 0-8, something like that his score was. So they can't do that again. One above all needs these sort of resources to get the items, because at one point he was almost 4,000-5,000 gold behind the Senna, a whole Infinity Edge behind. In a matchup, I think that's just going to spell trouble.
Yeah, and that Infinity is very crucial for one above all on the Jinx, especially the critical chance damage that comes out from it. You have to delay your build path because you're going for the Mortal Reminder instead first, especially when you're far behind. Is pretty detrimental to a Jinx who tries to get excited in these fights. Couldn't do much, especially when you have an Amumu just jumping on the backside every single time, landing good ultimates from the side of Broken Blade. But yes, very good coming out. Game 2 is going to be short underway. But guys, as a reminder, please make sure to follow all our social media links in the description box below. Follow Discord, LOL, INSA. We have a lot of events coming up, a lot of watch parties that we do for various events that we do, a lot of things that you can meet new people. We have Weekend Skirmish coming up, auctions going to be coming out for that. So just fun events overall, meet people who play the same game that you love playing and just come out from it, because a lot of the teams that you see have found most teammates also in there, because a lot of these squads were not cemented after qualifier 1. There was a lot of roster shuffles coming out here and there, and pretty much gets decided later for themselves of what they want to go for. But I think for the side of SUVO haters, a bit of a letdown given how game 1 was going for them. Hopefully better performance from them, and Poro Patrol playing pretty well and looking to maybe secure the first 3 entire points that they can get from a series.
Yeah, exactly. They would be hoping for that as well. I mean, SUVO haters are on 6 points already, so closing that gap is going to be quite meaningful. And as we said, like I think we have our top 3 teams set. I mean, not points wise, but in terms of performance, I think it is quite comfortably SATUL, Kakao, and then Revenants in that order. And it's the 4th slot that is the most interesting one. You have PNX, you have SUVO haters, you have all these teams battling it out for that. So any points dropped, it's going to affect how the table looks, because I think every team has that one loss already against SATUL lined up. And Kakao as well, I would say, I think they are going to beat most of the teams, if not all of them, except SATUL. So getting those points on the board is going to matter quite a lot, and Poro Patrol will be hoping that they can grab all 3 in this matchup.
Yes, with that being said, matchup underway. Grasp of their dying for an avoid in the top side. Poro Patrol, blue side. SUVO haters, red side. And you can see people have walked into lane. Pretty defensive. Last time we had seen side of SUVO haters go for maybe aggressive top side when they had the Braum. But this time just defending every single point of entry to their respective sides of the map. You can see we just having a fun time, just chilling over it. The Samira pick, not something you usually see this earlier on in a fearless draft. We have much more other options, but one of
Minions
all
have
seems
spawned.
very confident in Samira, especially after the buffs that came out for this champion. You still get lifesteal on auto attacks as well, or on your Qs. So you may be looking for this for sustaining the lane against a Smolder, but you should be trying to bully a Smolder. You can't let him just stack up for free. You can't have an even lane because that's where the Smolder just dominates later on. This time, Navoid secures the bush for himself. Jarvan going to be starting on the top side of the map. Pantheon starting on the top side of the map as we break down into game 2 in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, a mirrored start for both the junglers. They are going to meet up towards the bot side. I mean, we can already see heavy priority going on towards the bot side for both the junglers. They want to secure, the advantage, whatever they can get towards the mid and bot side, I would say, as Jazz is going to connect the meteor, but still going to end up worse on that trade. Itachi already blowing the bot there is a slight misplay from him. But if it works for him, I think it's fine. Jun proccing his passive, so he's going to get a really nice trade here. Let's see if he can connect his E. Misses it. But again, a good trade coming in. Blows the pot from the side of Navoid.
Gets the pot from Navoid, gets a lot of charming damage. E comes in, that would have been pretty detrimental. He even hit the level 2 timer before Navoid, especially after the wave pushes in into the vessel. She has to farm pretty nicely underneath the turret, but Jun is pretty trading well. Now Navoid goes aggressive on to the Mordekaiser. He's forced to pop one of his 2 pots for himself, but Invoker Tex playing it safe, just farming out for themselves, not trying to aggress anywhere. They have to be careful of lanes, and both ADC is going to be running the cleanse given the engage that come in. Nice play comes out from Tex, prevents Lean from going in. The cleansed instantly burned by one above all once the hook was landed from the Thresh. So already a bit of aggro coming in, as we said that they were playing passively.
Yeah, and Terex doing a really good job there, playing the engage from the Leona and then connecting his death sentence onto the Samira. Blows out again, a great play right there, denies Lean any sort of engage, and the hook connects as well. This might be first blood. One above all has the flash up for him. Okay, he is going to just get out right there with 200 HP, but man, again, really well played from Terex, just denying any sort of engage coming in from Lean, and in return connecting his hook and doing all that damage. Oh, beautiful 2-man EQ coming in from the side of Broken Blade right there. That's going to be a kill onto the Samira. He's going to take the lantern and get away as well. Goes back in once again. Again, it's a 3 versus 2, so I don't think SVH can afford to fight here, as the crab shortly will be secured for the side of Broken Blade, who still has his smite up.
As is might have a nice double man flag in drag, followed up by the hook of Tex. This man is not missing with Thresh. Lands the hook, secures the place of Samira in one spot. Still had flash up. Maybe should have flashed to get away from the flag and trap. Be careful about it, but no. Gets a bit greedy with the summoners. Ends up dying. Ends up being the first blood over here. And that first blood going over to Broken Blade, going over to Poro Patrol. Now Invoker a level up onto one above all above in CS as well. Top side, Jun, this time with a bit more commanding lead in lane against Navoid. Navoid a bit on the backside. Terex across the wall, just waiting to land a hook onto any target. But once Lean comes up, Terex doesn't think any point of hiding himself anymore. And this bot lane matchup is looking a bit spicy. One above all's cleanse still a bit on the cooldown marker, around half left on that, but has flash available in case anything lands. And he has to be very careful about the hooks coming out from Tex, because this man seems to not be missing as of yet.
Yeah, so far he's doing a great job. 5 minutes in. Now Invoker did not get to reset actually, so he is in a very peculiar position right here. Is able to farm safely, but I don't think they can handle any sort of engage, as another play is going to connect onto Lean. Lean just walking forward, trying to connect his stun. The hook is dodged away from the side of one above all, using his W to evade that one. So again, nothing doing. Every time Lean is looking to engage, Terex has been there with his flay, just denying any sort of all-in potential coming in from the side of SVH.
Yeah, that's exactly what Terex was looking with this pickup onto the Thresh. You're just denying every time Lean looks to be going onto your Q Dragon, and you're doing a fine job of that. Now, Void trading pretty heavily against Shun top side. He has to be careful. The passive of Shun has been procced. The Q also lands onto Navoid on his way out. Refillable potions in both men's pockets. They are chugging away. One more option for Navoid to chug, one more for him. But jungle objective wide. Jarvan slightly ahead in terms of camps, but gets equalized by the Pantheon right about here. Broken Blade walks over ward, but that is not visible because there's a pink ward. He's just going to be sneaking himself into the bot side. Maybe no. Thinks about it twice, walks away. Drake's been up for 1 minute 30 seconds. Invoker doing damage onto Lean. Lean no longer even trying to go in for, knowing that Terex is going to pretty much flay him away at any chance he gets. So he has to be careful about how he wants to use his own abilities, because now you have the wave in a pretty good spot for yourself.
Yeah, and towards the top side, we see like Warden's Mail picked up for the side of Mordekaiser, so he is going towards that tanky route. The bot lane seems to be quite bad right now for the side of POP, as the red buff has been started from Pantheon. So not a lot of action coming in. Both the junglers are just looking to farm as of now. But that could soon change if one of these teams decide to start the dragon. A good back coming in for Invoker, picks up his pickaxe and the longsword and refillable potion as well. So he can be quite comfortable towards his bot side of the map for the next 4-5 minutes, just farming up his few stacks. Towards the top side, Jun and Navoid again trading, but Jun has been doing pretty well, almost 10 CS ahead against his opposition number.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we're talking about. The smaller should not be allowed to go even in lane, because he's going to be a problem later. He's just going to keep on stacking. He's going to be happy having, just a farming lane for himself. No problem whatsoever. Navoid goes in against Jun, gets a lot of chunk damage. The E connects onto the Ambessa. He has taken quite a bit chunk, but he does not dodging the Qs. Invoker now gets caught out, does take the lantern away. The hook lands onto one of the wall. It gets cleansed immediately by the Samira. A lot of action bot side. Both cleanses getting burned by ADCs. Lean looks to be going maybe again in, but Invoker is level 6, has the mother available. One of all has to be careful if his W is on cooldown, which it should not be at this point. But after all that action pretty much subsiding, CS equal in both ADC's numbers. Again, Lean now goes in. This time the flay not coming in. RD comes in with the ultimate, flashes forward on the flash met by Invoker. Invoker mother call forward. One of all jumps in. RD ends up claiming the kill, neutralizing the kill lead that Poro Patrol had, and helps maybe in picking up the Drake. But you can see members of Poro Patrol are close by. Look at this replay over here, Kaka.
Yeah, I mean, the one time he misses his play, or mistimes it actually, because he got stunned right there. Invoker ends up dying. Flash stun from RD, used his ultimate towards the bot side of the map, and that's going to be another kill, as we have missed quite a lot of action actually that happened while we were watching the replay. A 3-0, a 4-0 for the side of POP right there, and that is disaster for SUVO haters.
A disaster indeed. Drake probably looks to be picked up, but no, low HP bars. They're just looking to get out. Program Blade just ignores the lantern, gets away himself with the flag and drag, gets away across the wall. But technically, overall, in extended, that was a 4-for-1 on top of Invoker. After that extended fight, Invoker does end up going down, but you lose 4 members, so you get a bit greedy. You end up going towards the Drake, but exactly what POP thinks you're about to do. They come in, they disrupt the fight. Drake still left alive, but Suvators losing 4 members in the exchange, going down quite a bit in terms of gold. Avoid going to come back into Jun over here, misses quite a bit of spells onto Jun, might have secured the kill onto the Mordekaiser, but Mordekaiser lives to tell the tale for another day, at least in this fight. But most of that gold, yet again, being funneled into Broken Blade with 100% kill participation.
Yeah, he is the difference maker for sure in this series. Of course, we missed the whole action that was going on there, but I'm assuming SUVO haters on the back of killing Invoker must have started the dragon there, and you can already see what went down, the CDs on the ultimate for both Hue and Jarvan. So Yeah, I mean, as you rightly said, 4-0 and 100% kill participation so far for Broken Blade, and he is looking like the main man for POP right here.
Exactly, looks exactly like the difference maker is Drake. Now getting started up by Poro Patrol, not going to be answered by Showhitters. RD still on the top side of the map, maybe looking to get a gank onto Jun after he picks up his gank. Now Void gets in, gets some early trade. RD's just around the corner. If Jun keeps on going for this, he doesn't have flash, he has to be careful. He doesn't have ultimate as well. RD tries to close down the space, still can't get into it. Does finally land the stun, but the shield gets proc. Pretty much all damage neutralized by the Mordekaiser. Just know the timing you want. And Shun exceeding up in terms of his CS lead as well over here. Terex just shadowing Invoker, making sure this time he won't miss the flare, because only the time he missed it just due to the stun. Unfortunately, the Smolder ends up dying. RD now battling against Mordekaiser on the top side. Here, right get caught out is looking detrimental. Jazzbot lands the ultimate, secures the kill onto the jungler SUVO haters, but unfortunately, Invoker's ultimate could not save him on the bot side. The Void going for more action, but he ends up going down to the hands of Broken Blade. So overall, cross map, a 2-for-1 in favor of Poro Patrol. The hook lands, the cage is there. Derek secures the kill for himself. That's a 3-for-1 after the end of the day for Poro Patrol. And Derek is playing a bit crazy over here. I really like how his thirst has been looking.
Yeah, well, good fight once again from the side of POP towards that top side of the map, but towards the bottom side, Invoker ends up going down. But I think one above all should expect that the hook is going to come in once that minion dies. I don't think he needs to step so far up. Even had the cleanse available, should he, if he wanted to use that, but decides against doing that. And now he's going to go 0-3. And we were saying that we kind of need the Samira to snowball this game, but it is exactly the opposite right now. 0-3. Not having the best game so far.
0-3 not having the best game so far. Broken Blade 5-0-2. Hue just bought 2-0-2 for himself. Lean's gonna go on to Invoker. Invoker has to be a bit careful. He's not on the safe side. One above all is walking forward, but look who's just around the corner. That's going to be Broken Blade. One above all, you might end up getting caught out. You don't have the flash. The flag and drag connects. Broken Blade has gone dominating. Lean's going to get flanked by Jazz's bot. There's not many places he can land. The hook lands from the Thresh, lands from Tex, and Invoker picks up his first kill of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what one above all is trying to do there. Like, why would you step so far up right there when you're not even in the range of the Smolder, as we'll see in this replay? Like, he's just too far up right now, and he pays for it with his life. Broken Blade again. He is where the action is all the time, and again gets the kill, secures one for his AD carry as well. 9 kill participation out of the 10. I mean, it is very impressive stuff from this jungler.
Yeah, 90% kill participation is crazy numbers earlier on from him. Like you said, he's everywhere that he needs to be. Jazz's bot is also doing pretty well. I think he's improved quite a bit as a mid laner throughout this tournament, and we're seeing the results from it in this game, in the previous game as well on the Annie. But like you said, Broken Blade, huge difference maker. The Void not doing that bad, now caught up on quite a bit of the CS that he was far behind on. On the other hand, Jazz's bot fairly up on to Itachi around 7 CS of his own, but one above all, just in the wrong time, in the wrong place, quite a bit of times. He's died 4 times throughout the duration of these 15 minutes that have happened. Jun, again, just bonking onto an avoid. The E catches onto him even after he tries to dash away. Another bonk on the way out means that Mord ends up winning this trade by quite some margin. Talking about objectives, in 10 seconds, the Rift Herald will come up. One above all goes in onto Invoker, but you don't have that much damage. Invoker has the SSG where he's just going to be spamming his spells, trying to get the stacks. Broken Blade's pretty deep in the jungle, might get caught out by RD, might get caught out by Lean. He has to be careful about this. RD now has an inkling. Derek's is close by as well, but I think they're just going to force A and give it up. Victor has walked into this fight. Jazz's bot is still hiding in the bush. Lean does go in, the hook lands onto the Samira. She pops the cleanse, but a bit too late. The Cataclysm plus the flag and drag secures Broken Blade the kill onto that. RD goes forward onto Jazz's bot, doesn't have the damage. The fear lands as well. That's going to be a double kill picked up for Broken Blade after they invade into SUVO Hater's jungle.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lean, why would you even try to engage there, knowing your mid laner cannot join the action? The Samira gets hooked again. Terex doing a fine job on that Thresh right now. Gets knocked up, gets ulted, finished off, and yeah, another double kill for the side of this this star performer so far in this series. Broken Blade 8-0-3 700 gold shutdown bounty, has already completed 2 items for himself. I mean, he is having the series of his life right now.
He is definitely having the series of his life. Drake now getting started up by SUVO Haters, trying to maybe catch some tempo back for themselves. You can see Broken Blade is walking close by. He will get in with his javelin that he will be throwing. The flag and drag still available. He may be looking to go for the steal, but unfortunately he jumps into the pit a bit too late with the help of the blasting code, but instantly flags and drags away. Objective bounty picked up by RD, and 1 Drake at least secured by SUVO Haters in what seems like a bit of a one-sided affair.
I mean, it is a one-sided affair, and it does not get better for them as the game goes on. The Smolder will be stacking, the Sway will be getting his items. I mean, there's already a 8-0-3 Jarvan on the map. The Mordekaiser again going towards the tanky route, so he knows what his job is in this game. Is going to use the Death Realm onto Navoid right here. May not have enough damage to finish him off, actually. We'll have to see, but okay, that was just very poorly played from both these guys. And yeah, that is going to be the solo kill, but RD is here, just waiting for his ECD. The W should be up, never mind. That's going to be a shutdown bounty picked up by RD towards that top side of the map, but not before Navoid dying solo to the Mordekaiser.
He does die solo, like you said, a bit poorly played by them in the realm, with the flashes being traded for themselves. Jettfire gonna betray SUVO Haters from walking up. The hook lands onto Itachi. He has to be burned to burn his flash. The W comes in for this mirror to block the ultimate from the Smolder, and now members of SUVO Haters have to keep their distance. They're trying to look to walk in, but you don't have Mbessa in this fight. The Mord not there for Poro Patrol, but Herald gets picked up by them. The Eye picked up by Broken Blade, and action has yet again subsided. But talking a bit about how the CS is looking, talking a bit about the goal completely in the favor of Poro Patrol. 5k up for themselves, and pretty much running away with it. These hooks of Terex are causing so many summoners to be burnt from SUVO Haters.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely running away with it. You look at the scores of all the carries from the side of SUVO Haters, 0-2, 0-1, 0-5. So these guys are not up to the mark as of now, and they would need some sort of miracle team fight or a throw coming out from the side of Poro Patrol to come back into this game, because the Samira is definitely out of it. The Victor is scaling for now, but so is the Smolder, so is the Hui. So I'm not too sure how you exactly plan to come back in this game if you are SUVO Haters. And the Jarvan can just lock down the Victor because he's so immobile, has no dashes, and if his flash isn't up, that's essentially a dead mid laner. And especially with how fed Broken Blade has upgraded his boots to tier 3 as well, so he's gonna dodge out on a lot of magic damage that comes out from the Victor. As one above all is fishing right here, the Leona is here, the Solar Eclipse is going to miss. Jazz's bot is going to flash away from trouble as the top turret is picked up for the side of POP, and they just keep extending their lead throughout, I mean, all over the map.
Yeah, they're gonna get the tier 1 top side, do half damage to the tier 2. RD is close by, but the Lantern provides June some relief. He gets out. What looked like a short kill on Jazz's bot could have been locked up, but like you said, flashed away from him. A setup was created by one of all, maybe to get something from him. Lean tries to go in on an Invoker. Nice sidestep by the Smolder to get out of Trouble's way, and unfortunately Lean can't do much, especially in the early laning phases with the flays were coming out each and every time from Terex, every time the sword from the Leona was going forward. So a bit of a counter for him in that time. Talking about itemization, at least Smolder not that far ahead in items compared to the Samira. Samira has the Collector, has a PF, has the Steel Cap. Smolder has the S Retriever, has Swifties, has a Tunneler, has another Pickaxe going for the Shojin. So looking pretty fed at the same time of how you want to go. 5k gold lead still maintained by Poro Patrol, but in terms of tower. But here, RD trying to go into Broken. The Solar Eclipse does slow down the Charvin, but he's just going to flag and drag his way to safety. Now that's an ultimate down for the side of the Luna once this Drake does eventually come up. That's going to be important to look at in these fights. And I don't think a 5v5 fight is what SUVO haters want to be going for, because they end up losing given how far ahead Broken Blade is.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with that ultimate down, you can't really lock him up as well, as the Artican has spawned as well. So I think that's going to be the pickup. One above all flashes away. I think he's just dead here. I don't think there's any way for him to escape whatsoever. Broken Blade going to pick up another kill for himself. And yeah, one above all is having the opposite game of what Broken Blade is having right now.
He is pretty much on that certain path. Drake now up, Captain Drake, third Drake of the map. Each team has 1-1 Drake each. Jun takes Navoid all the way to Brazil. Navoid triggers his own ultimate, tries to buy some time before ultimate finish, and Lean will be there to help him. But the Q's landing for the Morkais. There's so much damage coming in, and Navoid gets pulled back in. Now Lean is the one who has to run away after the kill that Jun picked up onto the Ambassador. Lean has to be careful about how he wants to walk. The Rylai's is there from Jun. The Solar Eclipse used just to maybe buy Leona some time to get away, but the Rylai's with the slow should be enough to secure the kill. One last Q secures it for him, but no, he does not get that last hit. And after so much problem topside, you send a lot of members from SUVO haters there. Drake gets picked up by Poro Patrol, Atakan shortly to follow suit, and it just looks like you're focusing the wrong things at the wrong time.
I mean, they were trying to cross map it, but I don't see the point when the Mordekaiser can just take one champion away and kill them in isolation, and that's exactly what happens. A 1-for-1 trade, but both the objectives picked up for the side of Poro Patrol. I think they'll be very happy with how that trade has gone for them. Artican picked up, the Chemtech Dragon was picked up as well, and they are moving closer to the Soul right now. 2 more to go. So a very good game so far from Poro Patrol. Of course, they are 5,000 gold ahead, but we have seen now that Navoid cannot even match the Mordekaiser, who has now killed the Ambassador twice solo.
He did kill him twice solo. It is a bit of a problem for the side of SUVO haters that their star player is not performing up to the mark they want. Only one with a positive KD is going to be Itachi, and he's playing pretty safe, trying to scale up to a point where he can be a problem. But once your ADC has died already 6 times, that spells some trouble, especially if it's Samira who wants to honestly snowball against a Smolder who's still just farming up. Is an item up over maybe 1.5 items up over onto SUVO haters is ADC the Samira. Smaller doing pretty fine. Jazz is about pretty far ahead. So Jarvan is 9-0-3 right now. 12 KP out of 15 kills. He's going to be looking fine and dandy. And Lean unfortunately cannot be doing much in these matchups. Again, Jun versus Navoid battling out topside. Broken Blaze close by. The Flag and Drag lands onto Itachi. Here comes the Gravity Well. Here comes the ultimate from Smolder. That's pretty much a dead Victor. Broken Blade going legendary yet again. RD has to run for the hills, maybe being forced to burn the flash to get away, but is trying to still stick it out. The Flag and Drag a bit too delayed, doesn't get the stun and knock up. The Void tries to run. 2 blinking HP bars. Invoker picks up the kill for himself. Lean is come to join the action, but it's a bit too late. You're just going to end up getting caught out. It's going to be an ace for the side of Poro Patrol, a clean one at that, and they're going to set their eyes onto the Baron spawning right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a demolition job from the side of Poro Patrol, diving them between 2 turrets and just finishing them off. Itachi 1-2-1-2 has the flash available, chooses not to use it, ends up dying first in this fight. Jun comes in, flash E towards RD, takes him into the death realm, finishes half of his HP bar right there. Broken Blade goes in, connects his ultimate, is not able to finish RD off, flashes out from that fight, but the Smolder doing his job with the Q picks up the kill. And man, there you go. The team fight was just so beautiful for the side of Poro Patrol in this one, picking up 5 kills for nothing, and the Baron as well. And it looks like somehow the victor has died once again.
He has died yet again. I think he was a bit greedy with that flash last time. Every time we go for replay, people end up dying off the screen, and it's going to be a bit of a problem for the side of SUVO haters. What looks like a dominant side, what looked like a closer game 1, game 2, not even close whatsoever. Poro Patrol running away with it, more than a 10k goal lead for themselves, and I think it's just a matter of time before they end up closing the game.
Yeah. I think this game is as good as done right now. I don't think there's any sort of comeback to be had in this one. I mean, look at the Jarvan. He has 3 items. Spirit Visage completed as well. He's not gonna die. The damage is severely lacking now from the side of SUVO haters, who are now almost, well, they are 10,000 gold behind. And yeah, it's just a matter of time before this one ends. And huge props to Poro Patrol. I mean, they did come back really well in game 1, but this game 2, it was never a close affair at all. Right from the draft, I would say, I think it was a very one-sided game, and that's exactly what has happened. 0-7 on the Samira. I mean, that's one above all. He's not having, the best game of his life for sure. But the performance has been really lacking from him. Only 2 kill participation. I mean, albeit there's been only 4 kills for this whole of SVH, as Jun just tanking the turret right there, takes one above all into his ultimate. It might not even end up dying. The solar flare goes missing. Mom comes out. Broken Blade is here to finish off one above all. Shortly, the Sunstrike is going to pick that up. Another beautiful hook connects onto RD. He's gonna die as well. The stacks have come in for Invoker, and I think this might be it for this series, as Poro Patrol coming in with a huge upset and a huge victory for themselves. They're going to be moving up to 4 points right now, picking up all 3 in their series against SUVO haters.
I think that's a very well-deserved 3 points for them over here. But you can see the Void trying to do something at the last moments in this fight. Broken Blade's still going to survive. Maybe not the end as of yet, but if you get caught out, you end up dying. Invoker has the damage you want to finish it off. You have a TP for the mod if he wants to come back in just to end the game here, but maybe just a bit on the slower pace of things. They want to take down the tier 3 mid instead. Invoker, like you said, stacks come in, the execution's gonna come in. So Samira has picked up a kill, but it's 1-8, and 2RD comes in with ultimate, flashes forward, jumps onto Invoker, but Invoker going to fly away. The hook connects from Terex, and once you have the Pantheon locked up, the exhaust comes in. RD is doing everything he can to kill the little dragon, but unfortunately cannot. Jun gonna be taking one above all away into his ultimate, just gonna be hammering away, gonna secure the 9th death of the ADC of SUVO haters, and he still won't end up going down. Lean can't do much. Itachi is trying to do as much as he can from that side of the wall. Here comes the flag and drag. Lean's left alone. The flash forward, the cataclysm flash away by Itachi. Lean gets pulled into this side, but Itachi is not left alone. Broken Blade's like a dog with a bone. He's just not letting away the members of the side of SUVO haters, and one by one they fall. The Void is all that is left. The Void is going to come back in. He's going to be falling down shortly. The ultimate from Jazz's bot connects. It's another ace for the side of Poro Patrol. It's Poro Patrol taking this best of 3 series away in a 2-0 fashion and securing 3 very well needed points for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this was a dominating game. I mean, look at the score up there, 30-6. 31. I mean, if you keep counting that, this is such a one-sided game from the side of Poro Patrol. I did not expect this at all. I'm not sure if anyone else did, and this is just a disaster for the side of SUVO haters and their confidence. I mean, losing to SATUL is one thing, but when you get smashed so hard against teams of your own caliber, then I mean, the serious questions need to be asked. And one above all, just that score line. He had more deaths than his team had kills, so I think that was the state of the game for him. But having said that, now Poro Patrol securing all 3 points for themselves and looking really, really good while doing it.
Absolutely looking really good. Like I said, with Broken Blade in the side, looking like a completely different squad than what we've seen in the previous iterations in the matchups of Legends Ascend. But Broken Blade doing a phenomenal job. Jazz's bot looks like a completely different man in the mid role right now, playing Kue pretty well, played the Annie pretty well game 1. Invoker just farmed up, didn't get caught out too much, gets to the point where he's pretty much a monster. Jun this time has his revenge against Navoid for the laning phase that he suffered in game 1, and Navoid also having a pretty lackluster performance game 2 coming out from him. 0-6 on this Ambessa. Unfortunately, without his Yone is not showing much, without his Aatrox not showing much, so it's good to target his spool, it's good to target a lot, and RD getting his favorite Pantheon could not go in for the ganks that he was really looking for. He did try it once or twice, they did catch it up, but I think the main weak link in this team in game 1 and 2 was the Jinx, was the Samira, especially the Samira game 2, because she got caught out too many times, and that's not what you need to do as your ADC. You have to play maybe a bit more safe. If you can't, maybe she just had the pressure maybe not to let the Smolder have an even lane.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, it was the bot lane. I wouldn't just say it was the AD carry. I think it was both of them. Lean not having the best game in game 1. One number wall replicating what his support did in game 1 in game 2. So both of them did not have the best game. I think Navoid did really well in game 1. So did Itachi, but they left a lot to be desired as a team in game 2. I think Poro Patrol just stepped up a few levels, and especially Broken Blade. I mean, if that game 1 was not disgusting enough, this Jarvan performance in game 2 was one of the highlights of the tournament so far. And I mean, congratulations to him for performing so well. And I mean, I have no doubt he'll be the MVP again in this game 2 as well.
And I think with him, Poro Patrol looked like a pretty good squad right now. Even their solo laners did pretty well. Game 2 onwards for them. Your bot side did phenomenal. I think the calling is pretty well. The macros coming out. Even the game 1 where they suffered quite a bit in terms of objectives wise. They gave over soul, they took the Baron instead, but they played with it pretty beautifully. Even objective wise with the deficit game 1, they still held it in. They did come out pretty nicely in that, and the team fights always pretty much going in their favor. And SUVO haters have to take a pretty retrospective look at this matchup, because like you said, losing to SUL Esports is one thing, losing to the best team of the tournament is losing something else, but losing to a team that only had 1 point till today in the tournament is something else, given that you were undefeated. You're a team that's beaten Syndicate as well, so I think something has gone wrong behind the scenes for the side of SUVO haters, and they have to rectify it moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. As we look at the scorecard for this game, to a very one-sided affair. We didn't get to see the 20,000 goal lead, but it's close enough. 17,000 for the side of POP right there. 10 turrets to 1, and everything else apart from one Infernal Dragon picked up for them. 32 kills to 7 right there is, I mean, that's a huge number. And ending this game in sub 13 minutes, POP just looking very, very strong.
Definitely looking very strong. This time they had the jungle domination from this. Only one Drake going over to side of SUVO haters. 10 towers for Poro Patrol to the 1 tower of SUVO haters. The Atakan picked up. They had pretty much dominance. All three Void Grubs. Goal difference at one point, at this point as well, is around a huge number, more than around 15k for themselves. So they are pretty happy with their numbers. But with your head to head over here, it's going to be both the junglers. We have to show it like that. Broken Blade, like you said, MVP performance throughout this series, has died just once in both games combined. 17, 1 and 31. That is just an insane KP coming in from him compared to the 5, 13, 7 unfortunately from RD. His Lilia a bit lacking. His Pantheon still a bit better, still was catching out, but still couldn't get to the point where his teammates were far ahead enough. 38.5k damage coming in for Broken Blade compared to the 27k from RD, and then the gold accumulated 31k for Broken Blade, 23k from RD. And I think the man of the arrow has to be Broken Blade. It has to be said a lot that with him, Poro Patrol now have a chance of getting even more points in this leaderboard moving forward.
100%. I mean, that KDA is ridiculous right there. 17-1 and 31, only dying once. He is the MVP of game 2 as well. 11-0 and 13. I mean, everything else does not really matter too much. He was there, right place, right time, every time. And with that KDA, I mean, you're deserving of winning any MVP.
Absolutely. I think the only death was that once in that Amumu time in game 1. But other than that, pretty much deathless. Performed well, was, like you said, everywhere that he needs to be, was shadowing his team well, was going for objectives nicely, and was a deciding factor in this matchup between these both teams. But after this best of 3, let's take a look at the leaderboard. I think there's no surprise whatsoever that SUVO Esports is on top with 4 wins and 12 points. Revenants closely behind with 3 wins, 1 loss and 9 points. SUVO haters, after today, secured their second loss of Legends Ascent. Now 2-2 in ratio of win-loss. Only still that 6 points that they had acquired 2 weeks ago. Phoenix Ascension, 2 wins, but it was 2-1 each time in their best of 3 series. So they only picked up 2 points from each of those 2 wins. That's 4 games. And then the 1 loss to SUVO Esports. Poro Patrol, the team of the hour, with that 1 win for themselves after the series losses they had faced before. They had taken 1 game away from Phoenix Ascension, so they had 1 point plus 3 for today, makes them 4. Kakao Gaming won one of their series, only losing 1 series to SUVO Esports. They have a lot more games to play right now, continuing for most games. Teams have played 4 games, they've only played 2, so the 3 points doesn't actually mark where they stand in the table as of now. But at the bottom part of the table, 0 wins for RPG, for Jettfire, for Syndicate, and only RPG with that 1 point from the game they got against Phoenix Ascension. Mike?
Oh, sorry, I was muted here. Yeah, having said that, like Kakao Gaming still have a lot of games to play. Only lost the 1 game to SATUL, and I think they will be winning most of their games as well. I think the one I'm looking out for the most is the one against Revenants, who are second in the standings so far. So it will be very interesting. The ladder is taking up shape. And yeah, having said that, guys, that is it from me. Madness will be continuing the action in the next series. And we will be taking a short break, but when we come back, it's Jettfire's Dojo in action.
top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the boys. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Live the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. And I got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I did it.
Guys, welcome back to League of Legends, Legends Ascend South Asia. It's me, Madness, this time alongside Fireball for the BO3 coming out from here. We already had a nice action-packed day, already one upset coming out from SUVO haters, losing to Poro Patrol in a 0-2 fashion. Poro Patrol secured their first entire win of a series and, crucially, 3 points that they really needed.
Yeah, it's good to be back after a small break and always a fun time to cast with Madness. So another best of 3 lined up for you guys. Action-packed League of Legends as we would expect from our region. And let us go through the teams. Madness, talk us through who is going to be playing and who to look out for.
I think most people would recognize the members in Syndicate's roster. I don't think we have to talk that much about them because once you see their faces, they're pretty familiar in the scene. You have a lot of players, old players who just got together, made the team. After I think Qualifier 2, they had a bit of difference in their roster, and Qualifier 3, they changed it around. But I don't think we're going to get that much time to talk about it because we're heading straight in to draft number 1 of this best of 3 series. Instantly, Jettfire Dojo will be banning out the Jarvan, banning out their Mumu. Very suspicious. I don't think Deadeye is going to play that much of Mumu. He only the only Mumu the Syndicate played was when Shekan was filling in the jungle role. Maybe they didn't account for it. Syndicate, on the other hand, will be banning out Freeze Yasuo and Mage's Jax.
Yep, and I think I have some issues from my side, so I will be right back. 1 second, Madness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Continuing in the draft, the Yone comes out as well because Free doesn't like to play that. I mean, a Lucian, good ban comes out, pretty good standard meta pick from now. Mage will be first locking in the Shen for himself. Shen also still flexible. We have seen a couple of Shen jungles coming out, not in the tournament per se, a couple of Shen supports. Rivenme does like to play this as a support, mind you. And it's going to be the Nocturne getting locked in for Deadeye, is one of his favorites going in over here. Zuko, last time Syndicates played, had a bit lackluster performance. Hopefully this man that's now known as Crown will be performing better. Harambe gets a champion that he is very well versed on, very nice champion with mobility that likes to play the Ezreal. And I think it's already looking like a pretty good draft from Syndicate side.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they are picking their comfort picks, and Harambe, let's see how he shows up this one. I think it's a test for Jettfire's Dojo, especially knowing that Syndicate's members have been around for a very long time in the scene, but I'm excited to see the Shen pick as well. Going for the Xayah, so already so much safety coming in for the carries, especially the Xayah for the side of Jettfire's Dojo. Already, with her ultimate itself, Xayah innately very safe champion, and you pair a Shen up with that, it just adds so much security for that AD carry. It'll be very hard for the Nocturne to actually, jump onto that carry and do meaningful damage. So that takes away the threat of Nocturne by quite a bit, and Jettfire's Dojo replying with a mini Nocturne of their own. The Y, press one button, lock onto their carries. But again, Ezreal not someone that you can stick on to very reliably for a long time. Syndicate will lock in the Galio, which I assume is going in the mid lane. So not many targets available for the Y right here as we move into the second phase of banning.
Yeah, not many targets for the Vi, not many targets for the Nocturne, essentially, especially how they want to go. The Rakan ban comes out because the Xayah was picked up by JDJ right here. Let's see what JDJ want to answer back with. We have a couple of substitutes coming. I don't think Phoenix has played that much ADC for the side of JDJ, if I am not wrong, but let's say correct about that later. I think the mid laner of Syndicates is also a bit of an unknown face moving forward here. But Pridijinda does love playing the Vi. Anytime it's left open, he does end up picking up for himself. Zuko will not be allowed to play his Gwen that gets banned out. It kind of been flexed, but given that the Nocturne was already picked, it's pretty much targeted at Zuko's range here. Zuko does love playing the set quite a bit by his own definition, and last time he did play the set, got a bit diffed by Navoid in the top side, so maybe that's playing in his mind. Maybe he wants a bit of redemption for himself. The Silas ban coming out from Syndicate as their last, and let's see what JDJ want to end the banning phase with for themselves. They are going to be taking down the time, and no ban has come up yet. I don't understand why it has not come. The timer is still at 0. The Morgana gets banned out. No longer you can play with that Ezreal the bot side.
The last second lasted for like 30 seconds. A very defensive picks coming in from the side of Syndicate. So Ezreal, Braum lane. You wouldn't expect anything fancy to be going on over there, as they have banned the Rakan, so Xayah Rakan is off the table as you mentioned. So they do lock in the Braum and the Ezreal. They really want to keep the carry safe. I don't think Galio needs that much peeling anyway, and Ezreal has a lot of self-peeling. I would have liked if they went for some more engaged sort of a support, because I don't think that layer of protection that Braum provides is absolutely essential when you already have like an Ezreal and a Galio. They could have been better off with someone who can force fights, engage, or just let the game flow in his own command. But well, you can never go wrong with Braum, one of my favorite champions. Jettfire's Dojo, they replied with the RE and the on to lock it up. So they have engaged with the on horn, they have the hard engage with the Y ultimate. RE can charm someone to get the pick potential over there. Xayah is going to be safe throughout, and Shen with his ultimate. So I assume it's going to be the Shen in the support role for Raven Me. I mean, I've seen on supports, but I don't think that was like just a patch or two a very long time ago. I don't know if that's still a thing anymore. I hope not. As good counter for the on, Fiora gets picked up, does really well one-on-one and into that in the early to mid game at least. Later on, when the on gets really, really beefy, becomes an entirely different story. But here, both the team comps have been locked in. And Syndicate, I just feel they've gone a very passive sort of route. I mean, they have the Nocturne, but like Nocturne goes in, Galio follows in with his ultimate, jumps the backline, and then front to back for the Ezreal as the Braum keeps him safe. I can see things working for Syndicate, but Jettfire's Dojo have a few tricks up the sleeve as well.
It does seem like that. Syndicate are playing, like you said, a bit more on the safer route going into this game. They unfortunately are near the bottom of the table in the terms of leaderboard. So is Jettfire Dojo. So a battle of who gets these crucial points that they need to build it up. Riven Me again had played the Shen previously in the qualifiers as the Shen support, so I don't doubt that he wants to pilot that champion for himself, and he did an okay performance. Mage in the top side with the Ornn. Let's see how well he can sail with him free as the RE. We know he does play a main Yasuo. We've seen his RE. It was a bit lacking from his side, so hopefully this time it comes out. Now with the Xayah that comes in, I don't think Syndicate had even done its homework that well, because I don't think Mage would have ended up with the Shen. I think it was going for Riven Me anyway, so maybe the Rakan ban maybe didn't have to come out, but maybe just erring on the safe side of caution, not allowing for that. But based on the comps coming out over here, you have a lot of protection for your Xayah, you have a lot of protection for your Ezreal. So it's going to be hard for the targets to be neutralized with the Vialt, with the Nocturnal going in. I want to see the early game between these two teams, because that's going to be of the utmost importance. And I want to see Zuko have a pretty good laning phase compared to what he did last time in the raid.
Yeah, both the carries being safe, but I feel with how fights are going to be, I feel there's going to be a lot of like all-ins because of this Nocturne and Vi, and there might be a lot of short fights. And then who would you prefer? Constant DPS of the Xayah, or like the in and out poking sort of damage coming out from Ezreal? I think for longer skirmishes and scraps, Ezreal is better. But if you have an on just hard engaging, if you have a Vi hard engaging, and you just have a full on fight, I would prefer the Xayah in those situations. So honestly, she brings in AoE damage as well, has the CC with the roots. And if both the ADCs get to survive for a long duration, which I am hoping they do because of the safety that they have, I feel Jettfire's Dojo inherently have more damage in their composition compared to Syndicate, and they have clear engage potential with the On and the Shen taunts with the Vi as well. So although Jettfire Dojo might be the underdog in this one, I mean, both of them are pretty close in the rankings, but I'm feeling good about Jettfire Dojo's draft, honestly, compared to Syndicate's.
It is one of their better drafts, especially compared to the previous times they've appeared in the tournament. This time it looks like they've taken a look back, taken a glance from a third man perspective, and seen what was going on and trying to improve. That's the beauty of the Legends End tournament. We're having it every weekend. You get time in between the week to maybe work on your strats, how you want to do your research, because you know the matchups you will be facing in the coming weeks. And hopefully it does work out for them, because both, as I said before, are unfortunately near the bottom side of the table, really need points right now, especially after seeing Poro Patrol, a team that was pretty much with them, get those 3 points. They will be also getting some motivation that yes, we can do it, we can get these points for ourselves, start building up a lead up in this leaderboard, because it's only going to be the top 4 teams moving forward in the playoffs, and week 3 and week 4 is pretty much where you're going to finalize where most of these teams are going to end up in that leaderboard and how you want to play. And especially against a team where you seem equal marking, equal caliber, you really want to come out top there, because these are pretty much the easier times you'll be able to get these points.
Definitely a lot to play for, and both teams desperate, and desperation brings out the best in people. And I am hoping all 10 of the members out on the Rift will be on top of the game. So as we wait for the Rift to load in, I would remind you guys to please join in our social medias. So we have a beautiful Discord server that is League of Legends in SA. All of us hang out over here, and there's a lot of events that regularly happen. You can be up to date with the community. So make sure you check those description box and links to join our community. That is going to be League of Legends in SA. Same thing on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook, if you still use that. And as always, thank you for Fragnation and Riot Games for making this tournament possible. As we jump into the Rift, best of 3, week 3, day 1, Jettfire Dojo versus Syndicate, and we're off.
Yeah, best of 3 shots of Jettfire Dojo going to be on the blue side, Syndicate on the red. Fiendish, interestingly, has gone for the Prestige attack, while Harambe has gone for the lethal tempo. A bit alterations of how you want to go, because usually with Desire, we like to go maybe lethal tempo for the extended fights, but maybe he thinks that just the hard DPS in lane, maybe to win it out for himself, he's thinking that way. Galio's gone for the phase rush, the electrocute for free, top side Fiora with the Conqueror makes complete sense, Mage with his own grasp. But talking a bit about the Rift state right now, pretty much just denying all entry points for both teams, playing on the defensive for them. Maybe we would have liked to see with the Brom getting a bit aggro, but no, just not going to make any silly mistakes that they can go for. Because remind you guys, each game is to play for. Even if you win a series 2-1, you don't get all 3 points. You only get 2 out of the 3 points. So every game definitely counts, and both of these teams really want to finish off the season 2-0 fashion to lock up all 3 points for themselves.
And this is something new. I've not seen Ezreal with the lethal tempo all that much. Is that like something I've been off of, or is this a mistake? A mistake? I don't know. Put some light on that.
I don't know. It is something that people have now been running, especially after the LPL. Some people have been playing there. So now, pretty much, Ezreal can be going his Prestige attack, Conqueror, or lethal tempo for the extended fights. It is something that works. It is up to the player if they want to do, but it has become more common nowadays.
Okay, so that's something today I learned. So excited to see how this lethal tempo Ezreal works out. That just, extends his DPS as well. And along with his passive, I can see how he can get a lot of attack speed after stacking up both of those things. And in lane, so melee supports both sides should be fine, as level 2 going in. SN shifts forward. Good damage coming onto Fiendish, the exhaust onto the Brom for some reason, and it's gonna be first blood for the side of Jettfire Dojo. So really well played by the side of Syndicate to secure that first blood, and yeah, there you go, off the mark already.
And they definitely use that level 2 timers to perfection for this. In the meantime, in the mid lane, the taunt lands onto Free has to be careful, especially with the phase rush Galio. But gets away. Bot side, it's going to be the ignite from the Braum that ends up picking the kill. It's the first blood going over to Syndicate. They open up the books, but unfortunately, it's the Braum picks up. But they're going to definitely take that. They get a nice push in. Rivimi again tried his best to land the taunt, so Braum gets under the turret. He does do that, but damage was still coming out. But as you said, interestingly, the exhaust didn't go on to Harambe, it went on to Braum, so a lot of damage from the Ezreal still came out. Ezreal gets a nice early back. He really likes to take these early fights so he can get that tier on that first back, start stacking that up for himself across the map. Otherwise, CS looks pretty even. Crown has a significant lead of 4 to 5 CS, but mid lane still being pressured at the same time. Both junglers had started at the top side of the match and now have reached the bot side. Nocturne will be the first to act on the scuttle and pick that up for himself.
This trading going around all over the map. The junglers moving towards the scuttle, as you said. Not a lot of things going on. I think it's going to be the first objective that is going to be spawning in about a minute and 10 seconds. Holding that thought, great charm onto the Galio in the mid lane. Free will pick up a free kill for himself on the Galio. So solo kill coming in the mid lane. That's going to help Ari a lot as the trading continues in the bot side. Almost 5 minutes into the game. 1 kill across the board for both the teams. 400 gold lead for the side of Syndicate as junglers going to get the recalls and maybe looking for just power farming to get to 6. I think both Y and Nocturne are looking to get to 6 before they start actually ganking, and you already see how much punishment Ezreal and Braum are bringing into the bot side.
Yeah, River again has to be careful not to take too many cues to the face from the Ezreal. Nocturne still hasn't gone for his back. He's still trying to get that level 6 before the side of the Vi. But nice coming in from the Galio. He did misstep earlier on, did eat the charm from pretty much in turret range, ends up eating a turret shot, plus the Q ends up going down. River again has to be careful, does taunt to get away. The Q gets dodged by him, ends up landing onto the Zion instead. But yes, this is a pretty brutal lane for the Zion Shen, especially after you give up that early kill to the bot side, and now you have to play on the passive completely. Dark Seal picked up by Galio after his first death comes back into the lane with that Dark Seal refillable potions. Top side, Crown has the wave in a good position for himself. Mage can't even honestly walk up. He has to be careful what he has to do, and a good CS lead already acquired for the Fiora.
I mean, yeah, that's what we would expect with the Fiora against Non earlier on, and Mage will need some help from his jungler, otherwise he will have to sacrifice a lot. I feel with On you can still do that. You can just stay in lane because you have that passive, so don't have to recall to get items, and try to just stay in the experience range and not become completely useless for the mid-game fights. But I think still Mage is doing a decent job. Gets to level 6 now, and maybe for the next objective fights he can be there with the on because realistically he's not looking to solo kill Fiora in the lane. There is he, and yeah, as soon as you press that taunt and Fiora is just gonna W you, and he might be able to turn that back honestly, as it's getting really close. The top lane things in its separate island going on. 20 CS lead for the Fiora, as we would expect in the bot side. Both the junglers are going to meet in the Dragon Pit though, so why forced to back away? Because the bot side of Syndicate is pushed in. They have the priority over here. Let's see if Jettfire Dojo try to contest this.
They are definitely going to try to contest. They jump in. Here comes the Galio out from the heavens. He's going to lock up into position. The fail trying to take away the smite. The flash away from River again, plus the taunt across the wall gets him to safety. He survives. The Drake end up picked up by Deadeyes. Now Ornn is in a very precarious situation. Crown pretty much wants to run him down. One more Q might secure this. Mage has to be careful underneath his turret, has to keep his distance. Unfortunately, it does not do exactly that. Ends up going down. Syndicate pick up the feats of warfare after the kill in the Dragon Pit, plus the kill in the top side, and it's not looking good. Nocturne coming in with the R into the lane, onto the Ari. Ari flashes away to safety, just about gets away with his life. So the first ultimate from Nocturne not being that successful. You do get the flash away from free, but Syndicate pretty well far ahead in terms of feats of strength, in terms of the Drake they picked up.
I have no idea what Mage is trying to do. If you have a Fiora against you, you should just forget that you have the E ability onto the On. Every time you press E, the Fiora is just going to stun you, and that's exactly what happened twice now. So I think having some trouble playing that matchup, because that's basically the only scenario in which Fiora is catching up and proccing those vitals, and he's doing exactly that. That's why he went down. Already he was behind in CS, now he falls quite behind in experience as well. And in the mid lane, nice charm coming in from the Ari. I think he pressed W first to cancel Nocturne's spell shield and then pressed the charm. So like really well played there by the Ari. I mean the orbs first. I forgot if that's the W or the E. But yeah, you get what I mean.
It's a W.
As World Cups will be started up again by the side of Jettfire's Dojo as they are getting closed down by Syndicate. A big scruff into the pit as the on-horn comes in. Massive knock-up onto two people of Syndicate as they run for the hills. Crown really low on HP will finally go down. It's a death pit over there. Brom being forced to flash away. Ari will be able to just clean that up, and the flash last second will make sure Galio survives. So what a messy duel coming on in the 9th minute of the game. But most importantly, the Void Grubs secured by Jettfire's Dojo and got a few kills for the mid laner there as well. Going 3-0-1. This Ari is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that was a 3-for-1 in favor of Jettfire. So they did pick up one grub, but two still went over to the side of Syndicate. They pick up one in those epic monster slots for the feats of strength for themselves with their finish, getting nice plating for himself. Bot side, Trioxy, I don't know what the flash was honestly coming out from the Brom because he was a bit in no man's land. I don't think the flash was necessary. A bit of switch driven with free in the middle lane with Trioxy and Harambe on the opposite side. Bot side, Fiendish against the Galio, and you can see now items have started to come in. Fiora will just continue to hammer away onto the Ornn. Ornn has to be careful. He built the Bramble to negate some of the healing that Fiora gets from the vital procs that she will be no matter going for. But talking about objectives, 1 Drake and 2 Grubs picked up for Syndicate. Only 1 Grub picked up by Jettfire Dojo. As we slow it a bit down, gold, around 700 gold in favor of Syndicate.
That's how the game is at the moment. Dragon is alive, and that's what it says on the top tooltip as they will be going for the next objective, getting space. Galio might be caught out over here as the Nocturne ultimate is being used to deny some vision, and here he jumps onto the Y of all people. Y is going dangerously low. Ezreal ultimate does some damage. Galio with a nice knockup will make sure that he gets traded 1 kill at least before going down, and now Harambe Avenger is here. Jettfire's Dojo don't want any more of this. Fiendish forced to use his ultimate. Nice flash and pullback will make sure the Nocturne goes down. The kill being traded with the junglers as Y goes down as well. Now here comes the Shen with his ultimate. Let's see their taunt. The taunt is good, connects onto the Brom. They get that kill. The exhaust is sticking away onto Ezreal, but he managed to slip away. So all these fights like really scrappy and more like 2 or 3 mini fights in one. But hey, we're all for that. At the end of the day, it's gonna be pretty even, and kills again to Ari and a kill for the Xayah as well.
Yeah, 3-for-2 in favor of Jettfire Dojo. Xayah, nice flash before the pullback. Secures the kill altogether. They look like she was getting caught out. Once the Brom passive was getting stacked on, pops the ultimate. Feathers do fly. Flash over to that side of the wall. Deadeye's got a bit lacking over there. Then, nice ultimate comes in from the Shen. They pick up the kill on Trioxy. Secure their added advantage of kills, at least in that fight. Only 1 stack onto the Galio Darkseal. He gets taunted by the Shen, but I don't think you can end up catching him. Crown goes pretty dangerously into Mage. Now the W out. Crown has to be careful, has to flash away from the Ornn that was coming in. That could have maybe spelled his demise. Definitely was on that same track. Now Zuko has to back away. Is up around 20 CS in his own favor. Is going to be happy about that. But Mage has the flash advantage. Drake is currently up. You can see Deadeye is just walking in that bush on that side. Fiendish still against Galio in the bot lane. They're just trying to trade as much. Ezreal quite a bit up on CS on his counterpart, but does not have the completed Trinity positive yet. Xayah has the Yuntas completed and is pretty happy about it. Let's see who actually makes the first step towards this trade.
Yeah, Ezreal just picked up his strike force on his way back, so he is quite up on CS as well. Chemtech Drake up on the map as Jettfire's Dojo trying to get priority in the bot lane, trying to push this one in, but I think Galio is just going to be able to one-shot that wave regardless. In the mid lane, Syndicate, Ezreal and Xayah will keep clearing these waves. Xayah should be the one obviously to clear the waves quicker as the Drake is in target for everyone. Summoner spells though, no flash for the Xayah, no exhaust for the Xayah over there. Flash is available for the Ari, no flash for the Galio, and flash is available for the Ezreal. So Ezreal is going to be pretty safe regardless in the fight, and why not having the best of times, 0 and 3, does have the 6 assists though. So not the end of the world for him, but this Ari completed item, and she's gonna be a big menace.
He is looking like to be a big menace. The Malignant's completed from the Hollow Radiance completed for the Galio. Now fights breaking out near their Drake. Deadeye's getting caught out, has to flash away. Here comes the ultimate from the Galio to protect him. Shen getting locked up instead. Drake going pretty low. Pretty Jinta has to run for the hills, turning onto Deadeyes, but Deadeyes still will end up surviving. Picks up the kill onto the Vi. Now Free, it looks like pretty deadly. Shen was ulting onto him, but the shield runs out. The person ends up dying. That's a 2-0 in Syndicate's favor. Plus, they pick up the Drake for themselves.
I mean, yeah, there's the jungler and the mid laner in the pit over there. The support's not there to help them out. I think they just got caught in a bad position, paid for it, and now Syndicate slowly and surely at every single objective they are getting this slight advantage. I mean, the last one was pretty forward, straight up advantage for them. But now they have gathered 2 dragons, 2 grubbies for themselves. Decent gold lead at 15 minutes. Their ADC is chilling, and I think Galio is just going to become more and more problematic later on. As in the top lane, I think On is trying to get more comfortable as he has stacked up that armor and HP, so he should be doing fine. Just has to be careful about that repost and play around that.
He does have to be careful about that. As usual, just chance to help in the mid side, get some chuck damage on to the Zaya, gets a bit of clear the well. River against in top side in case Crown does jump onto Mage. Mage is trying to bait him to just walk up here just to deny the pink ward from going down. Free against Galio in the bot side. A lot of these members towards the rift that spawned around 20 seconds ago, and that should be the next objective they want to fight for. Crown has to be a bit careful of the spacing, doesn't have vision on the bush bot over there. And now, with a bit of prio on the side of vision, Jettfire Dojo is trying to walk up to Rift Arrow, but they meet towards Deadeyes and towards the Braum. Now, Deadeyes will be looking to start Rift Arrow from himself. Rivermaker might get locked up into place with the Braum stacks, but no, unfortunately only 2 stacks out of the 4 were applied. The Rift Herald has been started up. Rivermaker is looking in to go in. Preeti Jinta is looking to go in. The TP not available from Free. The TP available from the Galio. Preeti Jinta comes up. The Ornhorn being called. The Herald gets picked up. Ultimate channeled by Deadeyes. He does go in onto the back line, and unfortunately that will be a dead Vi. Every time the ultimate comes in from the Nocturne, he ends up going for the Vi and ends up picking the kill. Nice Arcane Shift for it, plus the Q from the Ezreal secures the kill onto the Shen. So that's another 2-0 for Syndicate near a jungle objective while they take up the jungle objective as well.
JDJ's team fights are all over the place. You saw the On and the Ari trying to engage on to someone else, and Shen just ended up flash taunting a completely different target. They were just split apart into 2, and from that point itself, the team fight was doomed. And I think Jettfire Dojo, instead of having like what we thought a good draft, they're just not executing it properly. Wise not selecting the targets, and Shen's going on to someone else. Some sort of miscommunication going on, and Syndicate is taking full advantage of that. They are looking very robust in their team fights. They have a clear plan as who needs to do what, and that is paying off for them as they get their 4th objective essentially, and get themselves 2,500 gold lead. As the Galio might be in a bit of trouble, gets a good taunt there, but the Y ultimate along with the charm makes sure that he has nowhere to go. The Ari picks up the 5th kill of this game, and Ari and Zaya really need to step up if they have to bring this one back, as they are very much in the back seat right now.
Are definitely in the backseat. Vi Qs and gets away. Couldn't take the scuttle that she was looking for. Unfortunately, ends up still going to side of Syndicate. Nice pickup on the bot side. You did pick up the Galio, but there's nothing you actually can move on afterwards. Talking about the gold, it's all pretty much around 2k in favor of Syndicates. They're running away. The Ezreal is 303. Trinity completed. You're working forward as well. You have 360 stacks into your tier. You have the Ionian boots completed. Zaya has the Yuntals, the Berserker Greaves, and another BF sword lined up, looking for that Infinity Edge for herself. Crown against Mage. a tale as old as time itself on the top side. They have been battling out quite a bit, but unfortunately, since that kill on the top side, nothing else has actually materialized in these fights. Drake going to be spawning very soon, shortly. It looks like Traxi wants to go to base, pick up some more wards. Harambe Avenger just sees Vi to the face and doesn't do anything, not even flinching in the face of the jungler of JDJ.
Yeah, it was really well played by the Ezreal because the second the Ezreal is using that EY is pressing that ultimate button and making him use a flash at least. So really a lot of courage being shown there by Harambe Avenger. I mean, he had his team on the side, so he knew there will be people to support him if anything goes down. He was saving his Essence Arcane Shift for follow-up after the ultimate as well. Now the Dragon is onto the Rift yet again. Let's see if Jettfire Dojo finally this time they have the inside route and they are the ones who have started this objective almost half of the way done. Teleport is available from Crown, but I don't think On is going to be allowing that. So it's essentially numbers advantage for JDJ over here. Here comes the Nocturne ultimate. Goes in, nice smite by Preeti Zinta to make sure they secure the kill. But now they really have to get out of there as they're just going to sacrifice the Shen. And I think that's worth it. Sacrifice the support to make sure that 3 people escape. But why is the Xayah going back in? Forced to flash away, and Fiendish just getting a little emotional over his support, like, I'm not gonna leave you alone. Tries to go back and help him out, ends up wasting his flash, but yeah, JDJ at least they get the dragon for themselves.
For sure, being a player on the top side, Crown will repose the charm, but still pretty much will end up going down. Will Free end up surviving? He flashes away. The last Q vital might have been a bit more HP for himself, but no, ends up going down. But a lot of JDJ members were for that fight in the top side. That indicates for Syndicate this is a free Atakan for the taking, and that's exactly what they are going to be going for. Even in that last fight where Shen is trying to get away with the ultimate, unfortunately Xayah walks up, Shen gets knocked up, ultimate gets interrupted, can't do much. River Me again might be in a bit of world of trouble, has to be careful. You're walking into a lot of members of Syndicate who are taking this Atakan pretty much for free. You can see Preeti Zinta on the other side is taking the red buff away from Dead Eyes for the trouble. The Ornn trying to hammer away at the tier 1 top side. And now after this Syndicate, free Atakan for the same. River Me again trying to cancel some backs, but Syndicate still maintain that goal lead almost at that entire 3k mark for themselves. A lot of kills in the hands of their members, and most of the kills of JDG are in the hands of Free.
Top side of the JDG really suffering now. 0-6 combined jungler and top laner. On really, I think the only hope now is to just drag it out really late when the on items start coming into play and he gets like unkillable. Shen becomes really tanky as well. That allows time for the Xayah to get her 3 or 4 items. That Infinity Edge along with I don't know, now Flicker Blade's a good item or whatever Zeal item he will be going for. And Nocturne might fall off by that time. So JDJ really needs to make sure this game does not get away from them. Just relax and chill out till the Baron spawns. At least they still have 3 minutes for that. Farm up for 3 minutes. Try not to do anything funny. And I think the Baron flip is going to be the deciding point, and we are getting dangerously close to that. Syndicate should be feeling pretty confident. Their AD carry is 4-0-3. Galio is doing what Galio does best, and the threat of Nocturne is always there. So I think they will be waiting for this Baron to spawn as well and baiting JDJ into a team fight to make sure they have the resources to close this one off.
By chasing Galio pretty deep, but Galio doesn't mind whatsoever. He's fine if 2 members are walking towards him instead. River Me again walking pretty far ahead. The Q from the Braum does connect onto the Vi, but will not do much. Crown just going to Q and dash his way to glory. And now pretty much a 3-1-3 comp coming in. Nocturne is looking to come bot side, but I don't think you can do much. Mage should not be going in. Crown dodges onto what Mage was dishing out onto him, but is pretty substantial and happy about it. Like you said, farming should be being done by their members. Preeti Zinta will Q go into the Galio topside, but doesn't have much in backup. RD is trying to make his way over. Vi still trying to chase, but I don't think you can chase too much. Crown just gets a lot of procs of his own vital. Nice E from the Galio to dodge the Q from Preeti Zinta. Now Preeti Zinta might be the one getting caught out. The ultimate coming from the Shen, it might be turned and topsy-turvy. Galio ends up going low, ends up going down in the fight. Now Harambe and Traxxas have to make their way away. Here comes the TP from the Fury in the fight. Nocturne joins it as well. One by one, members of JDJ end up falling over here. The Ornhorn comes in, but it's a bit too late. Mage is left alone. Mage is trying to survive. He flashes forward. Another auto will lock him up in place. That's going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of Syndicate. And it all started off by chasing the Galio a bit too deep.
I don't get it. Like, there was this overchase by the Vi onto the Galio, and till that point, it just broke into a full-on team fight. I mean, till that point, also, it's okay even if a team fight breaks down. But again, the coordination in team fights is just not there. As a Shen, I think, especially against a Nocturne Galio comp, your primary objective is to peel for your carries. You should not be looking for these flash taunts in. I mean, he did connect a flash taunt onto the carry over there in the previous fight, but then what happened in the back line? Ari was left alone, poor Ari, into the hands of this demon Nocturne, and there was just nothing she could do after that. So, yeah, team fighting all over the place. I think Shen should understand they have the on for that hard engage, and he should really be just holding hands with the Ari to protect her from the Nocturne, because you saw in the last fight, everyone just melted and it was just the on surviving till the end. So, yeah, I think JDJ unfortunately have just let this game slip away from them quite a bit. That was that one team fight we were talking about, like they cannot afford that. They should just be farming till the Baron spawns. They ended up getting 4 kills away, and now Syndicate is just going wherever they please. 2 more kills picked up inside the jungle of JDJ itself, and just really well executed by Syndicate. I think they might be able to just end the game right off of this fight.
If they catch the Xayah, this is pretty much the end of it. Crown does pick up the kill, flashes away, but double turret shots means a shutdown going in over to the on. They pick up the tier 3, but now they have to back away. The charm lands onto the Braum. He's just about surviving, free dashing his way in and out. The Arcane Shift from Harambe just to survive. Deadeye is pretty low on mana, trying to get out of this fight. The TP is coming in from the Galio, but it might be a bit too late. If Mage and Free get caught out, this could be disaster, and that's exactly what happened. Mage gets caught, Free has to burn his flash to get out of this fight, and all in all, it is not looking good. Ultimate comes in from the Ezreal, the Q lands as well, but now Syndicate going to use their time, just back away, slow it down a bit. It did look like it could be ended if Zuko didn't end up going down, but still, pretty much the final nails in the coffin getting put by Syndicate in the next fight.
Lethal Tempo was up for Ezreal for like a minute and a half over there, and the fuse from Ezreal proccing that Lethal Tempo as well is just so wild to me, as dishing out so much damage in that fight. And JDJ, I just feel that it's gone far way to beyond for them. They need to work on the team fights for the next game, and they need to work on their coordination, as everyone is just all over the place right now. I felt like the draft was still okay, but just from the first team fight near the first objective, I don't think they are on the same page. Still, it's 27 minutes and 5,000 goal lead is something we can expect a comeback from at least. It's gonna take a lot for that to happen, though. The Ari is 6-2, the Xayah is still 2-2, so some avenues are there, but if the members get caught out like this again and again, it doesn't look like that it's gonna happen. The jungler goes down, the top laner surely is gonna be the next to follow, as how much tanky you are does not matter. Mage, if 4 people are just thrashing you around, he follows. 2 kills for nothing. Shen using his ultimate, trying to shield the Ari as much as he can, will keep him alive. But 2 for nothing, and if they want, they can just run to the Baron. But Crown's like, no, we are ending this right here, right now. Great ultimate proc will make sure he stays alive till the very last second. Galio comes in with his heroic entrance, and clean ace from the side of Syndicate, and 28 minutes waiting for the minion wave to just come in, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be game 1 for Syndicate.
It's exactly what it's looking like. It's gonna get locked up in for Syndicate over here. It did look like JDJ could have survived, but just again and again got out before objective fights. And again it's a 2-0, 3-0 in favor of Syndicate. All Nexus turrets end up going down. The taunt lands as Pritijita going down for the 9th time this game. And Syndicates will be taking game 1 in this best of 3 series against JJ even before Soul Drake.
I mean, 22 minutes, 23 minutes when we were at that point. I think still the goal lead was just 2,500. JDJ had to just sit back and relax till the battle spawned up, give away the farm or just stay alive. But they ended up chasing the Galio in the top side. I don't know why. And then the team fight that followed after that was complete disaster class from them as well. But they ended up paying for that. The game just completely flipped around from that moment. Syndicate, though, looking good from the get-go, very, very well organized, and everyone realizing their roles well. ADC Ezreal not dying even once. 6-0-12 perfect game coming out from Harambe Avenger. And I think this will give them a lot of confidence going into game number 2. Try to secure all 3 points. That's going to be the agenda for Syndicate. And JDJ, they really have to get their act together. And let's see if in game number 2, they can bring it back, secure some points for themselves. And it's going to be a fun series, I feel. I think the early game was still pretty head-to-head. And a little more coordination from JDJ, and I think we have a really, really, really fun second game on our hands.
I think, yeah, like the target prioritization just not coming in for them. Like you said, a bit of communication gap coming in for the members. Maybe just a bit nervous game 1 as it is of the best of 3 not going out. But Syndicate looked like a pretty well-oiled machine, especially on the later parts of the game. They prioritized pretty well. Deadeyes goes in for the targets he wants. You narrow down the fights. Crown's been left on his own just to do whatever he wants. Even at the last point when they're all running back to base, Crown was just waiting at the base for them to walk back in. But yes, they do it. The macro is good. They get all the objectives they need. And I think that at the end of the day, Syndicate came out the better team, at least game 1 wise. Talking a bit about the stats, 26 kills of Syndicate to the 12 of JDJ. Goal difference almost at the 10k, around that 9.5k mark. The 8 towers for Syndicate to the 2 towers of JDJ. And all that JDJ could actually establish in terms of jungle objectives was just that one solo void drop.
They were just all over the place, never in time for the objectives, always the one reacting rather than being proactive near the objectives, and that ended up just biting them at the end. So still, all is not lost. It is a best of 3. They did try, but unfortunately falling to Syndicate and Harambe Avenger over here, who's going to be the MVP for that. Flawless game coming out for him, 6-0 and 12 helped him self get in action from minute 1 itself with that first blood in the bot lane. 8 CS per minute is like we like to see that. A lot of gold in his pockets, a lot of damage dished out per minute, and well deserving. I think he just showed a great Ezreal masterclass.
And this is exactly the kind of way you want Harambe playing on the Ezreal, one of his signature champions. And he played it pretty well. His team was that backup, had a perfect game. And all in all, just well played from the boys of Syndicate. And this is the kind of games they need to bounce back from the droughts in wins they've had in the recent times. Because unfortunately, in Legends, is that they haven't been performing to the amount that they need to. Remember, Syndicate was the team that qualified first in qualifier 3, so they have some things on the shoulder that they have to show that they are better than some of the other teams. And unfortunately, Poro Patrol making some of the same mistakes, like the lagging communication has not just happened this game, it's happened quite a few times throughout the duration of this tournament, and they really have to work on it if they want to move forward, and maybe work on their comp and play according to their comp, because it just was not working out. The back to front wasn't coming in, the members were not protecting you need to. Even when Free was so far ahead, he had very little avenues to get back into the game where people were protecting him. Maybe it's Shenanigans coming in certain times, but if it's not there, if the damage is too high on the opponent's team, it's just not going to come to fruition. And they really have to rethink some things heading in to game 2 and just think about what they really want to accomplish in these games.
Back to the drawing board for JDJ, and hopefully they can regroup, try to calm down after this defeat. I think it was a pretty tough defeat to take in as well, because there was just really nothing going on for themselves. And but yeah, best of three. I think they have to keep their wits about themselves and make sure that they come back stronger. And Madness, do you think they can do that, or are we looking at a clean sweep coming in from the side of Syndicate?
I think it might be a clean sweep. I think we might have some other issues behind the scenes as well, so this might be a bit problematic. But moving forward, I think it looked like it was going in the 2-0 way, just how these two teams were playing, the mental between the two teams, especially later on, the way they were getting picked out before team fights. It was a bit of for how they wanted to battle it out. And I think Poro Patrol moving forward in this competition have a lot to work on. Maybe even if they don't qualify, they take this as a learning experience moving forward in future competitions in League of Legends, because they're a pretty new face to the scene at the end of the day, and hopefully they don't take this as a negative way and take it in positive feedback and just try to improve as a whole as a team, because they have players with the mechanics and individual skill that can match some good players, but unless they come together as a 5-man unit, it will not work out the way they want.
Yeah, definitely. We have some news coming in from the teams, though. It might be looking like the second match might be in some sort of trouble, as there are some internal issues going on with the Jettfire Dojo. We'll be keeping you guys up to date with what is happening. As things stand now, though, it is looking like JDJ are looking to forfeit the second match, as they have some internal issues going on with player availability. We will just confirm that if that is the case. And if that really happens, it's going to be Syndicate picking up a 2-0 victory and 3 points for themselves. Very welcome 3 points, but unfortunate way for that to happen. So we'll just make sure that the news is confirmed, and we'll be telling you guys in a few minutes as we are getting the confirmation in. And unfortunate for JDJ, I think we were looking at a good series, as I was excited to see how they would come back into the second game, as they had some moments here and there, but let's see if that is happening.
Yeah, and if this is exactly the case, then JDJ unfortunately will not secure any more points right now in the tournament. They're looking like, unfortunately, an early exit points-wise tournament here, but very crucial 3 points being picked up by Syndicate, a team that was maybe favored at the 5th or 4th mark going into this tournament, now finally starts picking up points, now finally starts building up momentum, and that is exactly what this team needs at this point, at this stage of Legends Ascent, especially in the group stage, where you have to try and now fight for that 4th, 3rd place, try and make it to the playoffs, try and make it to where that most of that prize pool money is locked, and where you can actually get money where everyone's happy about it, and try and fight it out in the double elimination playoff bracket.
Yeah, so the news is just coming in. It has been confirmed. JDJ, unfortunately, will be forfeiting the second match. So Syndicate picked up this series 2-0 with the forfeit. They had a good victory. I mean, I think they will be happy in their camp as well. Like, if they will be thinking, if we defeated them like in that fashion in game 1, they could have just done it again in game 2. So not going to be feeling all that bad about this victory. I welcome wins, man. Free wins. No one's going to say no to that. Hopefully JDJ can sort their issues out and can be back next week in full force, as for today it's going to be the end of their journey, as due to player issues and internal issues, JDJ will be giving up this second map, going down 0-2 against Syndicate, and Syndicate have points on the board, Madness, and these 3 points are going to go a very long way.
Definitely will go a long way. Just a little bit about the head-to-head at the end part. I think Harame Avenger, just because, that MVP on his shoulder, the perfect game coming from 6, 0, and 12. Free, on the other hand, had a lot of goal accumulated him early on, but his team just wasn't giving his side later on in these team fights. It was 6, 3, and 5 for himself, 8 CS to 7.3 CS. 18.9k damage to the 32k damage that Ezreal was dealing out. And that's going to be quite a bit. But at the end of the day, their gold they acquired is pretty similar. Only a 300 gold in the favor of Humber Avenger, with him having 11.7k and Free having around 11.4k. So pretty tight matchup just between just these stats. But at the end of the day, it's the teams that count. And I think Syndicate honestly were the better team game one. And just due to the difficulties that JDJ are facing, can't do the second game, and Syndicate will be running away with all of these 3 points. And like you said, finally Syndicate have points on the board, Fireball, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be happy in that camp, especially Sheikhan.
We'll be putting up the scoreboard soon enough to see how the situation is looking like in the league standings. SATUL, I don't think they're going to be dropping any wins in this league table. It's going to take a lot for them to fall down. And what's surprising for me is that one loss that Kakao Gaming have is, I mean, it was against SATUL, so still they have just played 2 games, still have a lot of games to go, as SATUL have played 4-1-4 as expected. Jettfire's Dojo, unfortunately, 0-2 right now. They would have had a chance at least to go, but unfortunately things don't always work out. Syndicate with that one victory, 3 points, jump straight up to 3rd position, and now it's just like a single point difference between them and 1st place. So reminding guys again, top 4 will battle it out in the knockout stages, and you can just see how close things are right from number 3 till number 7, just 3 points. So that's just one victory, 1-2-0 victory difference. And I think this 3rd and 4th spots are going to be really, really contended. I think SATUL have locked in the first because of their 4 wins and flawless rounds till now. But still, so much to play for. The tournament is completely open. 5-6 teams into the mix. That's what we like to see. We don't want to see just 2 or 3 teams that are just winning everything. And every single team coming into next week and in the following days will be aiming to get all those points and get themselves up on the top 4, because reminding you guys again about the prize pool, just to qualify for the playoffs, the top 4 combined prize pool of 7 lakh rupees. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. So all of these players have a lot to play for, and we will be seeing how things turn out in the following days. So this is going to be it from me, Fireball and Madness. Thanks for tuning into Legends Ascent South Asia. Thanking Fragnation for making this possible, along with Riot Games. Before we go, make sure you subscribe to all the social media channels. That's going to be League of Legends in SA all over Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and Facebook. Make sure we catch you there. Drop in a hi. And that is going to be it for us from today, week 3 and day 1. We will catch you guys next time.
to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gonna drop.